Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing on this very hot Thursday evening. I'm Front Row Racing DP and I'm going to be doing the commentary today along with my co-commentators TempFear and Arazor21 as we get ready for the World Series Round 17 from Suzuka in Japan. It's a world famous racetrack. It's one that the drivers should know very well. It's also one that my co-commentators should know quite well as well. Try and not say well too much, but there we go. But I'm just going to hand over to my co-commentators for a few moments before we go through the drivers, the standings and all that kind of stuff, and just before we send the drivers over to the racetrack. So, TempFear, Arazor21, what have you got for us today?
I've got a question for Razor, since he was mentioning about his reserve last week in the World Championship All Series. So, what advice have you got for the drivers here?
If you have a drive-through penalty, please serve it. It's best for everyone.
See, like I say, I haven't watched it, so I don't know exactly what you did, but I mean, you got a qualified Japan.
Didn't do it.
But what's your thoughts on the track limits? Obviously, so I raced here last night, and well, I don't like them here. They're a bit questionable, but like I say, what do you feel about them?
It's an interesting track and plenty of overtaking possibilities, and if the track gets wet, it's even more fun track to race.
Have you just done I'm going to bring DP back in if he's ready. Have you just done a classic James, not answer the question I asked you, just said something different?
Probably. Probably yes, and probably done it without even noticing. Okay, a little bit of information. We're still, I believe, waiting for Danny Railton, who's in as a reserve driver, to jump out of the Renault. Okay, good stuff, and into the manor that he's reserving for today. So I'm going to quickly run through the drivers and the teams, and then we'll go through last race results and also standings from or current driver standings. Okay, so in the petrol pumpers Mercedes, we have the two title rivals Hindle and Conzo. In the old crash test dummies Ferrari, we've got Caribbean Crush in as a reserve driver for Jason, and Dave the Harp, who is here racing at Suzuka once again. In the censored Williams, we've got Curly Whirly in as a reserve driver for Kane Ianda and Garfield. Now, Curly Whirly won as a reserve driver 2 weeks ago, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on today. In the New Age Outlaws Red Bull, we have Rickster, and unfortunately his teammate Charlie is not available today, so we'll see how Rickster gets on. In the Hey Ho Double Toe Force India, we've got Farthber and RDB. In the Wrong Tyres Renault, we have Valdemar and SBL Mali Kekec. Mali Kekec has a qualifying ban, unfortunately, for the Turn 1 collision in Malaysia. In the Toro Rosso is Ant69, that's the $1 million Herbie Toro Rosso is at 69. Unfortunately, Millstar unable to race today as he's got his GCSEs and didn't arrange a reserve driver in time, but good luck with those GCSEs, Millstar. Let's see, we also have the mental age of 10 McLaren from a Racing GP returns to his car, and his teammate Calzo is ready to race. And in the Yank and Limey Manor, we have Danny Railton in as a reserve driver, as I mentioned, and Lefty Hardtail. And in the Haas Admins Pick rookie team, we have Yuzi 1985. So if we're ready, guys, we can send the drivers over to the racetrack while TempFear takes us through the Malaysia results, if you would, please.
Oh yeah, as you say, it was Curly Whirly. Curly Whirly? I'm doing a razor.
Curly Whirly? Who's he then?
I don't know, but I was going to say, Whirly Curly, as a Razor said. Won the race last time out, being in reserve, done a fantastic drive. Was it pole, I believe, or close to it? And then, he ended up winning by 24.5 seconds, so he'll be open to repeat that. In second, we had Hindle. Again, I think I was shocked, just as a few of us, at how he actually managed to get back second. He had a pretty eventful race. Third was Kane Leander, his best result of the season so far. Good solid result for him. Fourth was Lefty Hardtail of the other manor. Fifth was Valdemar in the Wrong Tyres Renault. Sixth was Caribbean Crush for the reserve and Mental Age 10 McLaren. Seventh was SBL Manika, who again, see he's got that qualifying ban. 8th was Garfield and Williams. 9th was Calzo. 10th, RDB. 11th, David Hart. 12th, Harper. Konzo had a race to forget. We'll put it that way. I'll be nice to him. Down in 13th. Ant finished 14th. Millstar 15th in the $1 million dollar. Oh.
I thought he was going to call it the $1 million turdy then.
I know I was going to stop. But yeah, whatever you called it, the part of it. MX Epic Load, the New Age Outlaws, Red Bull didn't finish on the Millstar, sorry, didn't finish in 15th. And then Jason, Racer's best friend, that is, and Rickster also didn't finish, and the Admiral's Pit Rookie Car did not start.
That is true. Okay, in a few moments I'll go through the current Drivers' Championship standings and the Constructors' standings, or if anyone likes, they can check on the Front Row Racing Facebook page. A post was put on the page earlier on today that had information about the track and also the current standings, but I will go through them anyway. I just want to see what the weather's going to be like here in Japan for the World Series drivers. And it's looking dry at the moment as Arazor buries his head in his hands. He's disappointed at that one. And it looks like it's going to be red hot and sunny for the race as well. So disappointment for us there. So as the drivers get ready then, and they'll be happy perhaps that there is no wet weather. Although having said that, the World Championship race last night was phenomenal in those wet conditions. Okay, you're going to quickly run through the Drivers' Championship standings then. And we do have a fight for the title, as I mentioned. Hindle leading the way, 223 points, followed by Konzo on 204. Those two have been swapping and switching and getting closer and further away from each other all season long. In third place, it's still Mystic Joker. He hasn't been replaced yet in the Yank and Limey team, so he is still technically in third place on 138 points. And then we've got a battle for what will effectively be third place, but at the moment it's for fourth, and that's between Lefty Hardtail on 114 points and Front Row Racing GP on 101 points. We've then got a fantastic battle between sixth place Rickster and seventh place Jason. There's only 1 point between them, with Rickster being on 69 and Jason being on 68. So Jason, unfortunately, that gap may open up with him not being here today, as long as Rickster can get a good finish. And then this, I think, is absolutely brilliant. It may be for 8th place down, but just listen to how close these points are. We've got SPL Mali Kekech on 40, the FRR Admins Pick Rookie Car on 39, but then we've got Calzo on 38, Ant on 37, David Harp on 34, Kane Nyanda 33, Farfbert 31, Millstar 28, Valdemar 26, RDB 24, and Garfield, who unfortunately is on 6 at the moment, but every one of those guys are still in a battle for 8th place in the drivers' standings. So it's fantastic stuff as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the driver's standing. And at the bottom of the list is MX Everglow, who unfortunately hasn't scored any points this season. You may have spotted on the screen there was seeing SPL Mali Kekech on the on the track, and you'll have heard me say he's got a qualifying ban. What he's allowed to do is go and set a slow lap time to make it so that he starts ahead of the broadcast team, but at the back of the grid, and he's got a lap time delta that I think he has to stick to. Okay, on to the Constructors' Championship standings, and it's not quite as close in there, and we have been trying to work out some points and connotations. We found a simple way to explain things to you folks. Petrol Pumpers Mercedes lead the way at the moment on 452 points. In second place is Yank and Limey Manor on 277 points. There's 175 points between them, and there's 215 points maximum available, including from today's race. So it kind of goes like this. Yank and Limey Manor need to outscore Mercedes by 4 points today, or Mercedes will take the Constructors' Championship provisionally. So that's the situation for first place. In third place, we've got Mental Age of 10 McLaren, who are on 212 points. And seeing how many points are still available, it's still a fight between Yank and Limey in second and Mental Age of 10 in third. So keep an eye on that one. In fourth place, we've got Censored Williams on 171 points. A bit of a gap back to Wrong Tyres Renault in fifth on 171. Then we've got Old Crash Test Dummies Ferrari on 127 in sixth place. And then we've got a right little battle between New Age Outlaws Red Bull on 70 points, $1 Million Herbie Toro Rosso on 65 points, and Hey Ho Double Toe Force India on 56 points. So there's a fight between those three teams for seventh place, and the FRR Admins Pick Rookie Car is on 39 points. So okay, now that we've got got through that. Try and focus on what's happening on the track. I've got the camera on Yuzi, but guys, have you spotted anybody that's set a decent lap time or going quick at the moment or on different tyres perhaps?
Well, I'm on board with last time out race winner, Curly Whirly, or Whirly Curly, as some might want to call, on medium tyres, set 34.7 per sector, which is, not too bad at all. So yeah, just heading down towards 130R now, or as you say, R130, which actually annoys me. It's set to tyres of 42.6. Off the top of my head, that's actually quite good on those medium tyres as well, so could be a nice, comfortable base time set here. The only other time set so far is left hardtail on a 36.7.
Okay.
It's fun that you make one small mistake on a commentary booth and it's remembered forever.
Oh yes, oh yes.
At least you're not calling someone haircut.
Yeah, but hang on, who's Curly Worky? See, you have to be...
Hang on. I'm saying about 5 different words at once, which is true.
Oh, I don't know. It's the joys of being on commentary. It doesn't matter how hard you try, you'll make a mistake. It's just the way it happens.
Yeah,
okay,
the harder you try, the worse it gets.
Oh, yes. Yuzi, he's about to cross the line. He's on a medium set of tyres at the moment, and it's 4th place for him. 136.8. Not the fastest of lap times, but we're not expecting the fastest of lap times.
Gonzo is going fast this time in 2 purple sectors so far.
He is. So into the final chicane then, the Casio Triangle. And Konzo on the soft tyre. Is he going to abandon it? Yes, he is. And we've seen both Mercedes guys do that this season, haven't we? Setting sort of bankers. Or not bankers, but going out there, popping in purple sectors and then going, right, I'm going to put the harder compound tyre on now because that's what I want to start the race on. Caribbean Crush, though, he's about to start a flying lap, so let's ride on board with the Ferrari reserve driver today as he opens up the DRS wing and gets ready to attack Turn 1 here in Suzuka. Turn 1 is pretty much the braking zone for Turn 2, so in he goes, really attacking it, runs a little wide, but he's managed to keep hold of it. Can he get on the power early? Runs wide again, but may have been able to carry the speed now into the knuckles. This is all about picking your braking points, your turning points and your throttle pickup points absolutely spot on because you don't want to run wide here. He's compromised the exit to open up this corner, taking it beautifully. I've got a feeling we're going to be looking at about a 34.5 sector 1, 34.8 sector 1, not too bad. Into Degner 1 quite nicely, Degner 2 beautifully executed. Under the bridge he goes. Now up to the corner I hate the most on this track, the hairpin, especially in wet conditions. It's an awful corner, but Caribbean Crush in these dry tyres actually shifts up a lot of downshifts there to control any traction, and now heading up towards Spoon. He's got a car ahead of him. It looks like one of the Renaults who's a little bit slow. That's compromised him. Yeah, he's abandoned the lap because of that. That's put him off. That's unfortunate for Caribbean Crush, and that's where if that was SBL Mali Kekech,
he was Mali Kekech, and fun fact for him that he put his slow lap because he's qualifying pan, but he has purple sector 2 and sector 3.
So he's done a very, very slow sector 1 and then shown that he's got the pace. I mean, I suppose there's nothing wrong with doing that, but obviously you've got to, if you're doing your qualifying band delta lap time, you've got to do it without impeding anybody at all. Let's see, Dave the Harp, he's just coming through sector 1. I'm just wondering, guys, though, if you could perhaps keep an eye on Hindle, Curly Whirly, Konzo, as Dave the Harp does. Go on.
I was going to put in Valley carrying lap. Hindle did the same as Konzo, but instead of boxing in, he was carried on, and he, well, ironically, you'll see his first 2 sectors are on par with everyone. His last sector's suddenly 2 seconds off the pace. So yeah, he's had a nice little slow down on the same, so we'll put it.
Okay. But what's the tactics behind that?
It's just
doing that.
I suppose it's a bit of a banker, just so in case it just screws over laps, so he at least got something. But I mean, I'm going to put it out there now. I think a lot of these drivers will be looking to do a one-stop, so start mediums and go to hot tyres, which is why I wanted rain. But you know, I'm going to have a boring one-stop.
Yeah, well, I suppose I should mention the tyres that are available. I did show them at the start before we came to qualifying. The 3 tyres that are available are the yellow marked soft, the white marked medium and the orange marked hard. Well, however, the only mandatory tyre is the hard tyre. So drivers have to use that tyre during the race, which means they can either go very aggressive with the soft tyres and a two-stop, or they can use the hard tyres and the medium tyres going for a one-stop. So it'll be interesting what happens. Lefty Hardtail starting a flying lap now, so I'm going to ride on board with Lefty. I'm also going to mention I've got question of the day, which I'm going to throw out there now, actually. And if anyone watching on YouTube wants to have a guess at the answer, you are more than welcome to do so. And I haven't told my co-commentators what the question of the day is. Surprise. So here goes. How many points have been scored by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races in Japan? And
with the car,
and a bonus point if you can name the drivers. So I'll mention it again. The question is, how many points have been scored by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races in Japan? So if you think you know the answer, pop it on YouTube. You can either put hashtag QOD or @FRR, and Arazor will try and keep an eye on it. It's Lefty Hardtail on the 34.8 sector 1. But you were about to say something, Tony, so go on. What question have you got for question of the day?
That's probably with the time of those drivers and the scoring system. So it's not the current system.
All.
Yeah. It's So if there is only So if there is maximum of 10 points, so it's that system that was at that time. Okay.
Yes.
Well, what Japanese drivers do you know that won the Japanese Grand Prix?
Just to let you know, Caribbean Crush has abandoned his lap, unfortunately. I think Caribbean Crush is potentially going to be a little bit frustrated about what happened on his flying lap. I would like to get through some pre-race comments if we can, but Calzo, I've just seen Calzo has gone purple in Sector 1, and he's on the soft compound tyre. He was very unlucky at Malaysia last time out, getting caught up in that Turn 1 collision. And Calzo, when I had a chat with him a little earlier on, I'm just trying to find where I've put my pen. I've lost it. When I had a chat with Calzo early on, I asked if there's a driver that he's aiming to beat in this race, and he said no, not really aiming to beat anyone, just trying to get as high as possible in the Drivers' Championship and help my teammate in the Constructors, which is exactly what Calzo's been doing. He's been quite a revelation in the World Series this season. So let's see how he's going to end this lap. A 43.2 Sector 2, and it sounds like he's actually backed off. I think he may have abandoned that lap to do another run on a harder compound of tyre, guys.
Yeah, his last sector was an 18 dead, so a second off where he'd want to be, and his middle's not. I mean, I expect him to be about a second quicker in the middle as well on those tyres, considering what he did in the first sector.
Yeah, well, maybe he realised, he's got the pace for a purple Sector 1 and maybe backed out of it a little earlier on. I'm just on board with Hindle at the moment, who's setting himself up for a flying lap. And I did have a chat with Hindle and Konzo earlier on, and I mentioned about how the points gap between those two has been switching around so much, it's unbelievable. So when I was talking to Hindle earlier, I said, once again, the gap at the front has opened up in your favour. Will we see another cautious but focused race from you, or a fuller take-it-in-style drive? And he said cautious and focused. As he said in the interviews at the last race, as long as he beats his teammate, he doesn't care about the win. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that way. Although he did mention to me afterwards as well that every time I've asked him questions like that, that's when he's sort of, you've got a gap now, you're doing well. That's when he's had disconnections. And I said, well, if it makes it any better, Konzo's question for the last race that he never got to see was, you're back in the championship fight, so how does it feel? And we all know how that race went for him. So Hindle on starting his flying lap now then. And if someone can keep an eye on Konzo, when we jump on board with Konzo, I will try and go through his pre-race comments. But Konzo on the medium compound tyre. Now, Temp, we know the reasoning for qualifying on the sort of middle compound tyre, but is this a track where sacrificing a set of tyres and being on pole could be a lot more beneficial than risking a set of medium tyres and taking too much curb, just like he has done, which I believe has I think that's invalidated his lap. At least he's made him back out of it.
Well, that's something I considered yesterday. I mean, I looked at it and I didn't do a lot of practice, so I was weighing up, okay, what strategy options are there and all the rest. And yeah, like I said, I think that has actually been Hindle's lap there. Caribbean to actually start one, just seen there. But yeah, I'm thinking, okay, would it be worth me putting soft tyres on, getting at the front, disrupting everyone, and doing something different, which I wanted to do, just push. But like I say, it rained yesterday, so I kind of screwed it up. But I mean, if you can't get in the top 5, and I mean, if someone like Calzo isn't really got anything to lose, in all honesty, I'd do it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Now, we've got a little bit of a potential surprise creeping on here. Ant69 is just gone from 5th place to 4th place. He's on the soft compound tyre, and okay, there's still 3 minutes left of the session, but Ant69 doesn't usually qualify in the top 10, and that's no disrespect to him. He tends to be a little further down and quite often tends to play a much safer game, but seeing as he's just going to put himself 4th, my co-commentators can keep an eye on the timing screens while I quickly mention Ant69's pre-race comments. I said to him, he's an avid Liverpool supporter, by the way, folks, and I said to him, how did you feel when Man United won the Europa League? And how's the pace looking for today? And he said he's undecided or unbalanced or hard tyres for the race at the moment. And then he said, United who? I knew they would win it. They didn't play any decent side. That'll trigger the Dutch people who support Ajax. He said, I'd just like to wind up the drivers. Pace is not too bad so far, heading into his final warm-up session to make some tweaks. And he'd also like to say rest in peace to all those who lost their lives in Manchester, and we would definitely like to second that. And our thoughts go out to all the family and friends and everybody that's connected or affected by the atrocious acts taken out in Manchester earlier this week. And I've just noticed, co-commentators, that Caribbean Crush has gone and taken pole position on the medium compound tyre.
Yeah, he did it all in the middle sector over at Curly. I did see Ant earlier on in the session go high up, but I thought, okay, it's very early on. I won't jinx him just yet. Yeah. Konzo's out on an outlap, and Hindle
is on a good one.
Fuel. Yeah, Hindle did have enough fuel to carry on for so long.
Konzo has time for only one try in this qualifying session, so he better make it stick, or he's starting back at the grid.
Yeah, Hindle's second place. He's not got enough time to get round and start another lap, and he's backed out of it. So that's it. Second place for Hindle at the moment. See if we can get on board with Konzo, because there's a lot of pressure on him. And I said we'd mention his pre-race comments if we can. So that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. I mean, for Konzo, this is a crucial lap. He could really, really do, or as TempFear has been disconnected, could really, really do with Konzo getting in a lap good enough to be ahead of his teammate here. Now, Konzo, when I spoke to him earlier, I'll mention that in a moment. Just want to see what his Sector 1 time's going to be. He may have been put off a little bit. It's a 34.8 Sector 1. That's not bad. I said to Konzo, you have probably had more ups and downs than a roller coaster this season, but is there anything you can do on track to apply the pressure to Hindle? And he said, hi there, one stop is possible. However, a two stop could be faster, but all depends on traffic. As for Ryan is concerned, I will be trying everything possible to put pressure on him. All depends on qualifying. It needs to be there up near the front. Hopefully TempFear is going to be able to get back in to us, but with it migrating host, I think I won't leave the lobby at the end of the qualifying session, and we'll see how we get on there, see if it doesn't let me back in or not. Or at least I want to avoid it not letting me back in. Try and get back on board with Konzo before he crosses the finish line. We've got two more corners to go as he exits the Casio triangle. Is this going to be, well, it needs to be good enough for something. He's in 16th place at the moment, and it's 3rd place, so he will line up behind his teammate, but still up there near the front of the grid. Curly Whirly, he's down in 4th at the moment, but he is still on a flying lap, I believe. 1/10 off pole, and he is on the soft compound tyre, so the potential is there to improve, and he has just been bumped down to 5th place, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a Calzo that's gone and got himself up into the top 4 spaces. But let's see what Curly Wurly can do for the end of this lap. DRS about to pop open for the short run now to the finish line, and it is pole position for Curly Wurly. Now on those soft compound tyres, yeah, on the softs it should, yeah. And he also, I mean, at the start of the race, he is going to need to run away. Let's see, Garfield, he's still on a lap, he's in 7th. Calzo, coming to the end of his lap, he's in 11th at the moment on mediums, as Hindle takes an interesting line to the pits there, but keeps himself well out of the way. And if you didn't see him, viewers, feel free to rewind it as Calzo goes 6th. But yeah, Hindle was on the screen for a moment then. See if I can get on board with Garfield now as he completes his lap. He's currently in 8th, soft tyres, and he's backed out of it just before the line. Maybe he damaged those tyres. Well, maybe he damaged the tyres. Didn't want to improve on them.
Well, I don't know what time he set, like his 8th place, if he was on mediums or not. But that's probably potentially why as well. But
okay. Quick question for my co-commentators then. If I leave during the formation lap, there's a chance it won't let me back in and we'll have to restart the race. So, what would my co-commentators suggest should be done? Stay in the lobby and miss the start of the race, or risk it?
See, I would say risk it, get the start of the race.
Okay, if it all goes wrong, folks...
To me, that's the most crucial part of the race.
It is, especially on a track like Suzuka where so much can happen. So for any of the engineers, obviously be aware that we may have to but we may have to restart the formation lap and the start of the race. And apologies for the awkward viewers it's going now. A bit of tyre information for the viewers as well. All of the drivers were asked what tyres they would be bringing to the event, the softest choice, the balanced choice, or the hardest. I can tell you that 6 of the drivers decided to keep secret, 6 decided to bring the hardest, 3 decided to bring the balanced, none saying they bring the softest. Quick run of the qualifying order, and interestingly, Valdemar it was that got second. So Curly Wurly pole position, Valdemar second, soft tyres for both of them. Then we've got Caribbean crushing third, Hindle 4th, Conzo 5th, Calzo 6th, Danny Railton 7th, Garfield 8th and 9th, Lefty Hardtail 10th, GP 11th, Rickster 12th, Dave the Harp 13th, Uzi 14th, Farfba 15th, RDB 16th, and then SBL Mali Kekech rounding out the back of the grid in 17th place. But an interesting qualifying session there. Only 2 drivers risking the soft compound tyre, and everybody else on the mediums possibly hinting at the 2-stop.
I mean, well, yeah, decent gap between the 2 Mercedes, 2,000.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, during the formation lap, I will try and jump out and get back in. If it doesn't let me get back in, then TempFear and Arazor will jump out of the lobby and we'll get the next lobby set up and we'll be able to start from the formation lap. Looking at race strategies, it's showing for me on a brand new set of medium tyres, 2-stop or a 4-stop.
4?
Well, sorry, 3-stop. It's a 3-stop using 4 different 4 different sets of tyres.
On your bloody rubbers.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to see how this event is going to go. The driver's got the formation lap, and while I am trying to get out of the lobby and come back in, I will run through the question of the day, because while I'm trying to get back in, the viewers won't be able to hear my co-commentators. And my co-commentators, I'm sure, will be having a look at what tyres those guys outside the top 10 decide to put on their cars, and they can update me when I get back in. So, question of the day. Feel free to attempt popping your answers on YouTube, folks. How many points have been scored by F1 by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races at Japan? So, how many points have been scored by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races at Japan? Okay, I am trying to rejoin now. Let's see if it's going to let me back in or not. Yes, I am able to get back in, thankfully. So we'll see how we get on. I will go through question of the day there because I was trying to do two things at once. Once again, how many points have been scored by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races in Japan? Bonus points if you can name the drivers as well. And I know my co-commentators haven't given me their guesses yet, but we might have to wait until this race is underway because we are on the formation lap and Curly Whirly is on pole position, although we've got a little bit of time, guys. So come on then, Temp, give us a guess at how many points do you reckon Japanese drivers have scored in Japanese races?
Okay, I'm going to go 90.
90. Interesting. And yourself, Arazor?
41 points.
41 points. We can see which is the optimistic one of the two, can't we, folks? Well, actually, it could be either way.
Japan drivers.
So the drivers, they're coming through the Casio Triangle, getting ready to line up on the grid. And I mean, for Curly Whirly, it's a fantastic place to put himself in, but he is on the soft compound tyre. He's got to run away at the start of this race. There's no doubt about it. Problem is, he's got Valdemar next to him on the soft compound tyre as well. Yeah,
we had a quick look at the tyres for some of the drivers. I thought Arazor was going to mention this, but he hasn't, so I will. First person outside the top 10, I believe, was running a race in GP. Have a guess what tyres he's gone for?
Intermediates. I'm guessing that he's gone for the hard compound tyre.
Yeah, he's gone rock hard, the tyres that no one wants to use in this current year for Formula 1 in real life. So, it'll be interesting to see where he puts himself at the end of the first stint. May be getting in the way of the leaders and maybe agitating them, but I'll hand over to you.
Okay, drivers lining up on the grid then. And it's put me in control of my car, unfortunately. So we're gonna miss the start of the race, although I may have just caused myself to get disqualified. Yes, I have. My car is driving past everybody. Let's see if I can perhaps do this a different way then. Okay, retire from the event. This may trigger the start. Let's see if that's going to work. See, we'll blame TempFear for any dodginess that goes on here. But now we're on with the broadcast view, on with Curly Whirly, who he says is in second place at the moment, but that's because my car's now down at turn 1. And as that's getting moved out of the way. This will be a stressful situation for the drivers, though, as they are sat there on the grid wondering what the hell just happened with DP's car. But if the lights don't get going, we may have to abort this start.
I think everyone has a black screen. Still waiting for DP's car to get disqualified. So.
Okay, right, guys, I'll make the call then. We will abort this start. We can all blame TempFear as we risked it. So aborted start. So Tony and Temp, if you can both get ready to retire from the session, as I do as well, do that right now, just so that the drivers know that it is everybody that is going. The engineers will be telling their drivers that we are going to be aborting the start. It means we will set up a new lobby. Or not necessarily set up a new lobby, but reset the lobby and get the drivers back in. So unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes when the host, for whatever, has a game crash or a disconnection, which is something.
So we are making a new lobby.
So it was a game crash then.
Yeah, changing camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's quite frustrating. And the thing is, I know drivers have had that problem in qualifying before. There's been drivers that have told their car to leave the pits and the game's crashed on them, or they've been watching on the TV monitor and changed camera and it's crashed on them. I mean, disconnections is one thing. Game crashing, there's nothing as a user you can really do about that. But as TempFear gets the lobby set back up and gets Arazor in there as well, and once everybody is in, I'm just thinking whether I'll jump in as well, and then I will leave and come back. Are you laughing at my It's the generic DP thinking noise, that is. Well, I've oiled it up. It used to be
oiled it up. Oh dear.
Can you tell it's hot today and the sun's got to me? So yeah, as TempFear and Arazor get the lobby set up, I will jump in because what I'll do is I'll leave again during the formation lap. So hopefully that everything will work out there. And as TempFear and Arazor are getting the lobby set up and inviting all of the drivers back in, I'll run through the rest of the drivers' pre-race comments. So if you can let me know, guys, when you've sent me an invite, please.
I've sent you 2.
Okay. Tony, are you back in the lobby, yeah?
He is.
He is?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, I shall come in and join the lobby. And apologies to the viewers for this. I mean, as we say, there's absolutely nothing we can do about a game crashing there. And annoyingly, when it's the host, it has more of an effect than if it's just if it had just been myself or if it had just been Arazor or anybody else that had those problems. So as the guys are inviting everybody in, I'll quickly go through as many of the pre-race comments as I can and send them to the track when they're all ready.
That's how that.
I'd say nothing.
Whirly curly.
Okay, so Curly Whirly, seeing as TempFear just mentioned him, as I spoke to him earlier today, I said, as a reserve driver, you won the last race, can you win this one too? He said, I've not practiced much for this race as I've been playing the 2017 beta. I think a few people have, to be honest, haven't they, Temp? He said,
No.
yeah, I think I can win as long as I have a clean race. Qualifying here isn't great for me, but the race pace is normally very good. Garfield, I said, if it rains, do you feel confident in the wet? He said, I'm going to go for the quicker 2-stop today, hopefully, if it stays dry. But if the rain does come, well, let's say I will be lucky to finish. Thanks again for the opportunity to race. And thankfully for Garfield, it is a dry race. Let's see. Dave the Harp. I spoke to him earlier on and said, Suzuka, a track that wasn't kind to you last season, could a good result here bring back the love of this track, or does it have a permanent sour taste here? He said, don't think it was the track that was unkind to me, but any points scored will be a bonus, as like every race, I don't expect much these days. Caribbean Crush, I did send him a message, but I didn't get a response from him, unfortunately. But the question that I asked him was, you've been nicknamed as the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of FRR, the guy who can come in and do the job better than most. Is there a better footballer you could reference yourself to? Oh, and podium today, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get back in touch with me on that one. Okay, so let's see. Rickster, I said, Tim, Suzuka, a track you love? Question mark. He said, and then I said, if it rains, would that help you or hurt you? And he said he hates Suzuka and he's done no practice, so he's not expecting anything special tonight. Rain would 100% make it harder for him as he's awful in the wet. Let's see, we have got more drivers pre-race comments, but we'll try and get through those during the race, as we are about to send the drivers back to the track to get ready for the formation lap and the start of the Front Row Racing World Series round 17 here in Suzuka. Hang on a moment.
I want to jump in quickly.
I've just been given a warning about voice bandwidth and being restricted to only being able to talk to the nearest 22 players.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Anyway,
Honestly, I have no idea. You'll have to have a look at when it comes up on YouTube, Tony, because I wasn't really looking at the screen. It's only when I re-looked at the screen I was like, okay, that's an interesting message. And considering that the maximum amount of players on the screen is 22, then yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Okay.
Anyway, as I was going to jump in quickly, I noticed how you left a certain McLaren pre-race comments blank.
Yes, I did. I figured.
I haven't looked at them yet.
Well,
I haven't looked.
I haven't.
But from what I got yesterday, I don't know.
I haven't decided who I'm going to give them to yet. Well, no, that's not true. I have decided. I just haven't told either of you yet. Okay, so I just thought, I'm hoping that Temp was able to send me a couple of invites there. I think I did get a couple, but I will try and leave during this formation lap and get back in. But yeah, that error message that I got there was definitely a new one to me. So as I quickly jump out and try to rejoin once again, I'm sure my co-commentators will have another look at what tyres those drivers outside of the top 10 are going to be using for the start of the race. But we will see. Let's see. This at the moment is it going to let me come back in? I'm using as my new thing. I'm trying to get rid of "I'll tell you what" and do instead.
I'll tell you what.
or maybe it's a case of getting ready for question of the day in 2 weeks' time. How many times did DP go?
No. You said it about 10 times already. We're not even started yet.
I know. The thing is, what if people think, oh, that's what it will be, right? I'll count how many he's done, and then that's not the question.
Yeah, you'll get moaned at then.
Yeah. Okay, so tyres then, guys. What are we looking at for the tyres for those guys outside the top 10?
I'm pretty sure it was the same as last time. So GP starting 11th, first person with free choice on the hards. Rickster, David Harbuzi on mediums. Farquhar on hards. His teammate RDB on softs, which is surprised because normally they copy each other. Literally, they even crash at the same corner sometimes. And SBO Malikekech, so the main man out of position, as you would say, is on hards. So be interesting to see, like I say, where he gets to, and if he can actually get ahead of front racing GP who's doing a similar thing to him.
Yeah, I mean, running the hard tyre at the start, I mean, basically you need to just hope that you can keep the car on the track and stay within touching distance and see what happens from there. For the guys at the front on the soft compound tyre, they need to push like mad if they're two-stopping, because they're going to need to open up enough of a gap that when they pit, they don't get held up too much by traffic. So as Curly Whirly lines up on the grid then, with Valdemar next to him, and then Caribbean Crush, Hindle, Konzo, Calzo, Danny Railton, Garfield and 69, Lefty Hardtail from Row Racing GP. And interestingly, that means the Lefty Hardtail and from Row Racing GP and their sort of driver standings fight are next to each other again on the grid. Then we've got Rickster, Dave the Harp, Yuzi, Farfber, RDB and SBL Malikekech at the back of the grid. So as we wait for those cars at the back of the grid to line up, as they are just doing now, we are going to get ready for the start of the Front Row Racing World Series round 17 from Suzuka in Japan. The lights are on, the lights are out, and away they go down towards turn 1 here in Suzuka. Looks like Curly Whirly has had a good start. Valdemar, it wasn't the best, and Hindle is trying to attack Caribbean Crush into turn 1, and he has done, as they're 3 wide behind. Caribbean Crush now running wide. It looks like Konzo is being attacked by Calzo. Yes, he is in the background. It's getting very, very busy as Lefty Hardtail, is it? No, that's Danny Railton. Go on, Tony.
Has been collected. His and there is one car and 69 as well. And 69 is being collected as well.
Alright.
So that's unfortunate for 69.
Started in 9th. Probably best qualifier of the season. It was looking good for him, and it's just dead last. I do feel for the guy.
So devastating for Ant then. But interestingly for Hindle, it was very important that he got ahead of Caribbean Crush. And Konzo can't afford to let Hindle run away from Caribbean Crush here. But he's got to be careful of the battle that's sort of starting to begin to brew behind him between Calzo, Danny Railton and Garfield. And Lefty Hardtail still there as well, with GP right behind him well, not right behind him, but position-wise right behind him on the hard compound tyre.
And look who's behind him. Big gainer of the first half a lap. SVL Malikekech, sure did 11.
Oh, Caribbean Crush makes the move on Hindle into the R130. And what a move, and here comes Konzo now. Konzo's right on the back of Hindle. There was an opportunity there. I mentioned Hindle's pre-race comments about will it be the cautious approach, and he said yes it would be, and I'm wondering if that was a big factor of it. A case of, well, you know what, if you want to go side by side through here, that's fine. I'm going to make sure we don't have any contact. And you know what?
Danny Railton and Calzo into turn 1 side by side, so it's put in. Ooh, Calzo's gone wide. It's a horrible corner when that happens. But yeah, Danny Railton's through up the inside, but the difference of tyre compound there, so Calzo's hoping we can get back at him later on.
Well, he's under attack already from Garfield though, so Garfield's trying to oh no, Garfield's right wide. Is that going to be wide enough to let Lefty Hardtail attack? No, it's only going to be close enough to let Lefty Hardtail get close. And in the background though, SBL Malikekech attacking GP on the hard compound tyre. A nice move through Dunlop curve there. Beautifully done by the Renault driver, the McLaren driver, having a look if he can attack back, but not quite able to do it. But to be honest, if GP can just hold on to the back of SBL Malikekech, both drivers will have decent pace. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying about Caribbean Crush, as Danny Railton is still got Calzo right behind him. sorry, Temp, right? If you were Konzo and you know that Hindle's playing a cautious game, do you take full advantage of that? Do you go all out attack?
You would do, but then does Konzo know that? That's the thing. Hindle's told us, but he may have told Konzo completely the thing. That's the thing, it's mind games, especially at this level where they're fighting for the championship. I think he's just got to go having the same approach as Hindle. He's behind in the championship, so regardless, he needs to beat him. And, you know, just go for it.
That is just true.
Do what you can to off-put him, do anything.
Okay, guys, keep an eye on battles elsewhere. I'm just having a look at Curly Whirly because Valdemar has just set the fastest lap of the race. So Valdemar is beginning to close this gap in a little bit, and obviously DRS is going to be available for the drivers from this lap onwards. So Valdemar, with his teammate being much further down the grid, this is an excellent opportunity, although he's just got massively sideways at Dunlop. That's going to have given Curly Whirly a little bit of a breather now. Yeah, that gap has opened up a little bit once again, but Valdemar's still in a fantastic position.
He is indeed. I mean, like I say, it's only his teammate up there, but he can hold himself up there and get a gap on these medium runners, and he's doing good. But looking at the two Mercedes, Konzo just looks more at home. And Hindle's, I don't know if he's just holding back from Caribbean or what, but I feel like Konzo's got more pace here.
He may have. I mean, Konzo's got a lot less to lose as Hindle runs a little bit wide between the two spoon curves. That could give Konzo a little bit of extra confidence. I did see as well, it looked like the manner of Danny Railton may have just had a little bit of lag, which could put off Calzo, who is quite close to the back of him. But with DRS available, Tony, can you have a look at the leaders for me while I'm just keeping an eye on this battle with Hindo? Who's either? Hindo, the Japanese version of Hindle, just to see if Hindle is close enough to Caribbean Crush to attack with DRS, which I think he might be. But Caribbean Crush usually does have very good top speed, but here comes Hindle. Has he got enough? No, he hasn't. And Konzo does have the DRS as well, but not able to capitalise.
Nothing happening at the front. Steady gap between those two
Okay.
drivers. So.
TempFear, if you can, soft tyres, qualifying on them, starting on the race. When are we looking at those guys heading into the pits?
Oh, we should have that sort of information. Good laps, including qualifying, 5, 6, probably push them a bit longer. But I just want to quickly comment. I was wondering where front racing GP disappeared to. He's already fitted for the medium tyres, so he may have had some damage or an issue. I'm not too sure. Try and look into it, but I'm not sure on the yet. But quickly bringing in Manny Kakech again. He's only 9 seconds off the lead so far, which, considering where he started from, on his tyres, he's not far off at all. So, I mean, I can't reiterate how much of an interesting drive this might be to watch from him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if Suzuka was a track where in the past I did a very short stint on the hard compound tyre at the end of a race, and I'm wondering if GPs perhaps go in the opposite way, as I think Konzo may have a little bit of a run on Hindle at the moment. Oh, I've just seen lag on Hindle's car.
Lagging. Hindle has been lagging whole lap.
Oh, it's big lag on Hindle's car. Oh dear. I said to him, when he said to me, if you've cursed me, I'm never answering your questions again. I did say, well, you know what, if it does happen again today, then it 100% confirms that the commentator's curse has moved over to the press questions as well. So, Hindle, honest to God, if it happens to you, I am so sorry and it's not my fault. Or, I don't know what his car is doing. Is Konzo ahead of him?
No, he's just pulled over, I think, for his teammate, because he's probably communicated in lying, so he's being very sportsman.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I'd say that is very sportsman, because he doesn't want his car to destroy his teammate's car, but it is now causing potential problems for Danny Railton behind him, and Danny Railton has got Calzo all over the back of him, and Calzo, he won't care what's happening to Hindle's car, he just wants to attack and get past if he can.
He's just thinking, right, at least I ain't my brother this time, I ain't going to get rage mode.
I so hope I haven't cursed Hindle, I really do. Because otherwise the rest of the pre-race comments, questions for the rest of the season will be, so what did you have for dinner then? It'll be nothing to do with racing. He still might not answer me.
It throws up, you know why?
Well, yeah, I think.
Think
Go on, Tony.
about the championship battle. If something bad happens to Hindle in this, it will be even more tighter.
It will, and what is tight as well is Calzo just getting ahead of Danny Railton into the R130. It was a vital move, and the Williams driver trying to make it around the outside as well, and couldn't quite do it. He's backed out of it, and there is SPL Mali Kekec. He's got ahead of Lefty Hardtail, so SPL Mali Kekec has been making moves.
Our two leaders is in a bit. Curly Burley and Valdemar both pitted.
Yes, they have. Danny Railton has
hard tyres.
Hard tyres. Okay, Danny Railton also into the pits as well. So where are Curly Whirly and Valdemar going to come back out on track? They're behind a Ferrari. Is that a Force India? Yes, they're between two Force Indias, and that is RDB in front. Farfper behind, and RDB's on hard compound tyres. But Curly Whirly wasting no time in getting past RDB, and now it's Valdemar's turn, because Valdemar is under a little bit of extra pressure. RDB doesn't hold him up at all, but RDB now coming under pressure from Farfper, and I feel a little bit like a horse racing commentator as Farfper and RDB come together. It's contact between the Hey Ho Double Toe Force Indias. Can they rescue their cars? It looks like they can. And now to the next fence.
Contact between these two doesn't surprise me. They are the comical team, I would put it, and not being harsh, but they wouldn't mind me saying that.
They're the funny Force India team, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, mentioning that...
He's probably going to be my best friend by the end of the day, everyone's going to think. Now that those leaders are pitted, we get a more true reading of how far he is off the lead, with the people doing one stop. He's only 4 seconds off the lead. He may actually win this race if he can keep it clean, get no penalties. So now we've got to curse him on that one, but yeah, may see a last to first, or at least a podium anyway.
So DRS zone trying to overtake Caribbean Crush, and he's done it.
He's got the move done into turn 1, so that's Konzo into the lead of the race then. These guys on the medium tyres, I don't know how long they're going to be able to go, but I'm going to guess somewhere around about, well, they're going to want to try and go to about lap 12-13 if they're one stop in this race. And for Hindle...
I have information on that, actually.
Ooh, go ahead.
So, obviously these guys have qualified on the tyres as well, and if they get in around 5% or a bit more on their front left, if they want to push it to lap 12, they're going to be in the puncture zone, because I know someone who did that and qualified tyres and got 85%, so something around that anyway. Not too sure on the hard tyres, because I don't think I've actually used those tyres around this track, but it's going to be tight either way.
Malika gets battling with Garfield for 5th position.
He is. He's trying to go all the way around the outside. Oh, the R200, and I think Garfield may need a quick bathroom break when he goes to the pits.
No, that's what it was like yesterday around that corner. Now that is one corner in the wet that I do not like.
Yeah, it's not a difficult corner in the dry, but in the wet it is a whole different ball game. Okay, I'm having a quick look at Rickster as Curly Whirly is the car behind him now. Curly Whirly has opened up a little bit of a gap to Valdemar. That's because Valdemar had to work hard to get past Dave the Harp.
Caribbean Crush with the DRS on Con, so this time he's going to make the overtake as well. Back and forth action at the top.
So Caribbean Crush, and it's only fair that I give Konzo a Japanese style name as well. So Caribbean Crush and Kondo in second place, playing a bit of ping pong down into turn 1, bit of to you to me. And Temp, you were talking a little while ago about the Hey Ho Double Toe Force India drivers being the more fun drivers on the grid, so to speak. Do you want to quickly go through Farfper and RDB's pre-race comments?
Oh, you have to give me a minute.
No problem. Come back to us when you're ready. I'm just going to keep an eye on this battle between Caribbean Crush and Konzo at the moment. Tony, I was wondering if you could have a look at, let's see, a quick look at SBL Mali Kekec, see if he's catching Calzo, but also if Curly Whirly is attacking Rickster.
Well, Curly Whirly is attacking Rickster. a bit too far, I think, for now, but it's not gonna take long for that he's close for overtake.
He is, and Konzo is ever so close to the back of Caribbean Crush. It's going to be Konzo's turn to have DRS, and people may wonder why they're not attacking into the chicane, and a big part of that is, yes, it can be done, but only if you've already got DRS for the start finish, because no point overtaking there to lose the position. But Konzo, he's got another opportunity. Here we go then, pulls to the inside, and it's Kondo's turn to retake the lead of the race.
Question today for next race: how many drivers did DP give Chappie's name to? Anyway, I've got the comments here. I've had a quick look at Fun Racing GP's previous comments, and it's ironic considering how bad we're all doing tonight with pronouncing a few things. That's going to be a good laugh, that one. But the Heyo Double Toe, apart from being the hardest set of tyres, IDB is balanced. Let's start off with bad luck has hit you hard this season. What song brings you out of the village? Congratulations on the new baby groove. Hakuna Matata, just imagine me, a Simone and IDB as Bumba. I can actually imagine that. And thanks for Little Sprocket being soon racing, give him a few years. So congratulations to Father Paul as some of us know him.
Yep, he is going to be a daddy.
Yeah, that's worrying. I'm quite close to him. I'm closer to the drivers, and that's not a good thing. I don't want a second driver in this old. Anyway, rest IDB. Any pre-race thoughts for this round? Pretty playing question there, Dave. You're disappointed.
Update. Curly Whirly has overtaken Rickster for 7th place.
Yeah, and I'll quickly hold fire on RDB's answer as Congo Caribbean got on the pitch straight, but saying that Caribbean's not actually much this time, so you may not see a move this time around.
And Calso on the pits as well.
Okay, no movement of the lead this time around. Hindle? Where's Hindle?
He was there a second ago. I didn't see him.
I saw him on the start-finish a moment ago. It's
17th place.
Yeah, it's showing him as being in 17th place, so I don't think he is. I think that's wrong. I think he is still in 3rd, because that's still Konzo and Caribbean Crush ahead of him. So something going a little bit odd there. Yeah, I think I'll stay away from Konzo for now. Not Konzo, Hindle. Sorry, Hindle. Yep. So SPL Manny Kekec, it's showing him being in 4th place now, which may be correct, because it looks like it's showing Hindle back in 3rd. So SPL Manny Kekec in a good position, but let's see, the gap between Manny Kekec and Curly Whirly is about 11 seconds, so Manny Kekec may be able to make this one-stop work and be within fighting distance. The question is, Curly Whirly, is he going to do 2 hard stints, or is he going to go back to a set of softs? I'm guessing back to a set of softs.
I'm surprised.
Broken alert. Maligagage has risen for 4th place now. He started from back of the grid and he's climbed to 4th place now.
Okay.
Are you changing skies?
A bit of information for you guys. The battle between Front Row Racing GP and their driver standings battle for sort of 3rd place is in the favour of GP at the moment. Lefty Hardtail is struggling on the hard compound tyre. GP having pitted earlier and being on the medium compound tyre is a couple of places up the road and has Rickster right behind him. I think Rickster recently pitted. So GP's definitely got another pit stop to make and is in the better position. Go on, Tony, what you got for us?
Contact between Dave the Harp and Fartbach. Yes, Dave the Harp to the pit lane now.
Okay, no problem. So
I
a little.
I want to finish off these pre-race comments.
Go on then. So RDB's pre-race comment.
He said, "Evening. I'm hoping for rain. If I'm honest, love the track layout. I'm running a lot of arrows, so I should be protected 162. You don't run a lot of arrows. That's shock on me. I hope to get into the points and have some good wheels with battles on the way." But, I'm not doing GP just yet. I'm just gonna,
Well,
you know what? I'm going to say something I shouldn't.
Better not to say it then. And now, interestingly enough, I think SPL Mali Kekec on those hard compound tyres is now catching up this leading trio who are on much more worn medium tyres. So yeah, I think SPL Mali Kekec is definitely still in with this. But Konzo up at the front, he's opening up quite a nice gap to Caribbean Crush here.
Yeah, I did notice that. I thought to fifth, just want a quick mention to him. Doing quite nicely there. So,
Caribbean Crush into the pits. Hindle into the pits. Is this a two-stop strategy? Is this a one-stop strategy? Hard tyres for the both of them by the looks of it.
Yeah, I still say one, but we do. Hindle's jumped the Ferrari in the pits as well, by the way. But yeah, we do know traditionally Hindle is a bit harder on his rubbers than Konzo. And is that Mali Kekec in the pits as well?
Yep.
Oh, he is.
He's put on medium tyres.
Oh, these guys are coming out just behind quite a bit of traffic from what I could tell. But for Hindle, that's worked out brilliantly. For SPL Mali Kekec, it hasn't worked out that bad either, unless the two cars ahead of him are going to the end of the race, which is what we predict they are doing. There's no way Mali Kekec is making these tyres do 15 laps. Or is he? I mean, if they're brand new, they might, because the cars ahead did what, 11 after doing qualifying laps on them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have seen a few miracles this season where I've said stuff and then drivers have still proved me wrong. But Japan, medium, 16 laps. Ooh, I don't know. I wouldn't like to be driving that car. Sorry, Racer.
Yeah, no problem. Calso attacking Valdemar with his soft tyres.
Yeah, I did spot that, and I have jumped on board with them. So Valdemar, we know, pitted quite some time ago. Tony, could you check whether Calzo... I mean, I'm guessing Calzo has made a pit stop, because he's not going to have taken...
Yeah, he has made it like a lap or two ago, if I remember, but I will check.
Okay, so this is a legitimate battle for second place then for Valdemar and Calzo, and I believe both drivers will have to stop again. But Calzo's he's got a fantastic opportunity here.
Yeah, Calzo pitted on lap 9, but he has not done hard tyres yet.
Okay, so Calzo then, he wants to look to the inside, but 3 wide into turn 1 as Hindle comes out right behind them. Valdemar runs wide.
That's Konzo.
Sorry, Konzo. I give up. I retire. I'll give up. That's enough. No, Calzo takes second place then. Konzo comes out right behind him. That was so treacherous for Calzo into turn 1. It was unlucky for Valdemar, but brilliant stuff for Calzo. Only problem is, car behind him, not going to be stopping again, I don't think.
While you're going through that 3 wide into turn 1, Mali Kekec, that's Caribbean in a pretty simple deal. That's what we're going pretty straight, just to let you know.
Okay, so Mali Kekec's next target then is Hindle. Hindle's next target is Valdemar.
So, Dave, I'm sent a few more Japanese names here for drivers.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. We've got enough potential questions today. Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
I know what GP's pre-race comments are, so I'm waiting till we get to that.
I'll behave.
Can we say it on live? That seems pretty.
What he thought you can. But what you might say, you might not.
That is true. Okay, Konzo is close enough to attack his little brother Calzo, but Konzo is on the hardest compound tyre. Calzo is on the softest compound tyre. So whether he's going to be quick enough, I don't know. Hindle, he's already going defensive on... to cover off SPL Mali Kekec. Mali Kekec on the medium compound tyre. He has to start making moves because he's going to have another pit stop to make, I believe. So he needs to start shifting places pretty damn quick. I'm just wondering if we've got anything kicking off elsewhere down the field, guys, while keeping the camera on Hindle at the moment, because he's going to feel a little bit like a Japanese roasted duck in a few moments' time.
Danny Railton and Garfield are pretty close together, but I don't know if there is actually a battle going on.
Oh, okay, Hindle really...
Mali Kekec was at the back of Hindle there.
Yeah, Mali Kekec carrying a lot more speed on the medium tyre.
Yeah, he's the problem through Declan 1 as Caribbean went a bit deeper in. He's, I mean, it's got a nice helmet to stand out in that car, I'll give him that, but I don't think Hindle would really want that to happen right now. But I'm not sure if he can get to the end on these tyres. I really don't know.
Who, Hindle or Malley?
Malley.
Yeah.
Hindle should, although I don't know what the hard tyres are like right here anyway, but he should do.
Yeah, I mean, Hindle and Konzo, I believe they're taking their hard tyres to the end, but yeah, I mean, for Mali Kekec, he's going to have to hope that his tyre wear is absolutely brilliant to be able to make moves. I mean, what he doesn't need to do is go aggressive.
Mali Kekec did 11 laps with hard tyres, so if he wants to make those tyres work, he has to do more with medium than hard tyres.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to work.
No, I think he's on the two-stop strategy, I reckon. I reckon he's going to do one more stop and he's going to go to the soft compound tyre and hope that he just absolutely minces anybody that's stayed out on hards. The problem is he's kind of stuck behind Hindle at the moment. Hindle's in a Renault sandwich, which is not where he wants to be. And also, I mean, I do know that Hindle was aware of SPL Mali Kekec's qualifying ban, so Hindle might be sat there thinking, well, hang on a minute, how's this guy up my chuff? Because he started at the back.
Yeah, it's insane. If you're on Hindle here, you are like, okay, hang on, what's going on here? You do question it, but
well,
I mean,
here's a question for you. I'm not saying, I mean, no driver should just let somebody by, but if Hindle is losing a bit of time here by holding Mali Kekec behind him, could it be wise? Well, actually, I was going to say, could it be wise for Hindle to let Mali Kekec go? Mali Kekec is going to get a free pass past his teammate. Let Mali Kekec go and attack Konzo, right?
Yeah, that's the
point.
because
I've gone to the wrong car. My apologies.
Yeah, answering that, I don't know, because it's case okay. I understand what you're saying, they're losing less time, but Mali Kekec will then just get out of the way, which will happen, but then he's still behind his teammate, and then it also allows Caribbean to attack Hindle and not Mali Kekec. So it's, I mean, how far is Collins up the road? He's actually quite a fair way.
Well,
I think Gonzo is a big winner in here. He's running away.
I think
and Hindle is keeping his biggest threat right now, the Mali Kekec.
I think we've got a different big winner though, because you guys haven't spotted it. Calzo has made another pit stop. Could be his last pit stop. He's on the medium compound tyre. He's got a little bit of clear air. He's 23 seconds off the leader. If he gains another...
He's catching those guys.
Yeah, and if he gains another 3 seconds, he could take the lead if Curly Whirly has to pit again. So Calzo's in a great position at the moment.
That is nice.
What tyres did Calzo start on medium? I believe the mandatory tyre is the hard tyre though.
Yeah, Calzo hasn't done hards in this race. So if
he's
that's
not
the mandatory, then he has to do one more pit stop. I don't know if he knows that, or then we are wrong and it's something different. Mandatory tires as well.
No,
and we are looking like fools here.
No, mandatory tyre is the hard tyre only. You have to run the hard tyre in a dry race. And just have a look at Curly Whirly. Let's see, the gap between himself and Konzo, 3.6 seconds at the moment in time. Valdemar is a little bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment, and this is allowing Konzo to increase his lead on Hindle.
Outside of Mali Kekec's turn 1 and 2. A bit of contact there, sorry. But yeah, that was pretty abrupt. But Mali Kekec has managed to hold on to it. But these medium tyres already seem to not be working for him.
Yeah,
He's
I mean, if he's
chasing Hindle and Caribbean's on the back, being like he's stuck to it.
Well, how many laps has he been on these medium tyres now? 5?
5 or 6, yeah. This is 6th lap.
So potentially, I don't know, attacked them too hard while he was behind Hindle. I mean, that's a possibility.
Also overtaking Danny Railton with his medium tires. But if that's true, what we have said here, track also has a big surprise when there's 3 laps remaining, when the game says a mandatory tire is hard and you haven't done it yet. So that may be his strategy out of the window.
Yeah, definitely. I would have thought that had been spoken with his teammate from a racing GP who still sitting in 13th place on. He's gone back to hard compound tyres by the looks of it, his GP, and he's got RDB behind him. Let's see, where is he compared to Lefty Hardtail? Lefty Hardtail is in 10th. So a bit of a gap between those two at the moment, but it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here, because, yeah, 10 laps to go. I still think we've got a few pit stops to do.
Yeah, it seems a bit messy, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't mean that in a horrible way. As Calder's retired, I'll have a look at that was total damage. But yeah, it seems a bit scruffy. It was total damage for Calder as well.
Oh dear, I wondered if there's been a coming together between himself and Danny Railton. He was trying to attack Danny Railton and pass him.
I think they may have, because Danny Railton got 2 ETL warnings as well, so something's happened there.
Okay, Mali Kekec is now back right on the gearbox of Hindle again. I don't know whether it's just visual and that whether that is because visually Hindle is looking to be a little closer to the front of Mali, but it's actually a little bit further up the road. Obviously Hindle's car's been lagging about a bit during the duration of the race so far, but yeah, I mean, I'd be tempted to agree with you, Temper, that I don't know, the strategies are looking a little bit messy. I mean, obviously we don't know whether people have had damage. Go on, Tony.
Yeah, about the strategies, Curly Whirly pitted on lap 5 for hards, and Gonzo has done it on lap 13, both running on hards now. So is Curly Whirly coming to pits once again or not?
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming now. He's coming now to the pits.
Yeah, Curly started on the softs, whereas Gonzo's on the mediums. I mean, Curly's strategy, from what I'm seeing, is fine, same as like Mercedes and some of them, but a bit further down, it just seems to be like it's either been last minute decisions or they just don't know the strategy. I don't know. I mean, normally you expect us to come to a race like this and everyone knows what tyres they're putting on here and here, and they know everything. As Curly Whirly comes out just in front of his teammates, so that's pretty convenient for him. He's going to have a big push now, 8 laps on those medium tyres.
Yeah, well, Konzo has taken the lead of the race now, and should be going to the end. So let's see how far behind Curly Whirly is when he gets to the end of Sector 1. It's going to be about 16 seconds, 15, 16 seconds. And whether he's going to be able to catch up to Konzo in that time, I don't know. It is 17 seconds. And the reason why I say I don't know is because there's Hindle, SBL Mali Kekec and Caribbean Crush. Caribbean Crush and Hindle, I believe, are going to the end of the race. And they're not that far behind Konzo. SBL Mali Kekec may have another pit stop to do. And the reason I'm saying that I don't know if Curly Whirly is going to be able to catch up to Konzo is because, yes, okay, last night we saw TempFear's teammate Stocky catch up 27 seconds, I think it was, to the back of Mr. Hamilton 44, right? And Simo in last night's race. But that was brand spanking new softs compared to very old, overheating, intermediate tyres on a dry track. SPL Mali Kekec got a run on Hindle, though. I'm going to cut myself off before I carry that on. Mali Kekec, this is your opportunity. No, Hindle, a little bit of lag. Mali Kekec doesn't know where he is, can't quite make the move.
Yeah,
this is really hurting Mali Kekec here. He's on mediums and he can't get past hard tires running Hindle.
Yeah, I think his mediums may be a bit sharp, but yeah, going back to what you're saying there, DB, I understand what you're saying. I mean, you've got to get 2 seconds a lap effectively, which would be possible, but I think those hard tyres, the drop off is very minimal. They might actually be getting quicker to a certain extent until they get really warm, but like I say, he also has got that traffic, so it's... Yeah. I don't know, he needs to be on it to stand any sort of chance, but he hasn't gained, he's only gained 9/10.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it the other way as well. Mali Kekec, we have seen, has been quick here, right? and he's stuck. He is stuck behind Hindle, who is bringing out all of his tactics, his tricks to keep Mali Kekec behind him. But like I say, Mali Kekec has been quick and he's stuck. Curly Wurly could catch up to these three and quite simply get stuck. So
that's the thing. Like Curly Wurly might be fast with new tires, but so is Mali Kekec, and he can't get past Hindle.
Kekec pitting. Sorry, cut you off there.
So if Mali Kekec has been in trouble with Hindle, why Curly Wurly don't have the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. Curly Wurly could have just as many problems as SPL Mali Kekec has had. Now, Curly Wurly has obviously got ahead of Mali Kekec when it comes to pit stops, and Curly Wurly has got the gap down to 15 seconds, but it's 15 seconds to close up in 6 laps, and he's not been able to do that. So I've got a feeling Curly Wurly may have just thrown this one away, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say he's throwing it away. I mean, his strategy's kind of forced him to go this way, but
yeah,
that's the compromise of qualifying on the
softest
soft
tyre.
tyres. I mean, Mali Kekec just come out on these soft tyres, so we'll see what sort of inroads he makes, but he's too far back to really do any sort of damage to anyone here. But
Okay.
I think the only thing Curly Wurly can hope for now is punctures on some of the cars ahead of him.
Yeah. Okay, TempFear, you go on about my maths all the time, so now it's time for you to do some maths. Are Mercedes in a position to score enough points to take the Constructors' Championship?
I'm going to say yes straight away. I don't even need to work for that. They're in a 1-2 situation at the moment.
Well, that is true. That is true. Let's see, where is Danny Railton, who is reserving at the moment? He's in 8th place in the Manor, and he's got from a Racing GP, I think may have just made a move on Farfber, because Farfber was behind. Yeah, GP and Farfber have been having a bit of a battle, so GP has made a move. So GP is actually in position to gain on Lefty Hardtail in the driver's standings as well, and Lefty Hardtail, he's actually out of the points at the moment. The gap between himself and Farfber is 20 seconds, I think. 10 seconds, sorry. So, yeah, he's got a bit of work to do.
Curly Wurly has been a bit half a second faster than Console, so he's not driving as fast as he should if he can catch him. So, not looking good for Curly Wurly right now.
Definitely not. Hindle's still got Caribbean Crush behind him. Caribbean Crush now having Mali Kekec out of the way. Caribbean Crush can perhaps try and focus and see if he can get past Hindle at all.
I mean, yeah, I was going to ask a question on that. It was just a off of the fire. That was a terminal damage incident. But yeah, I was going to ask you, what would you be feeling / thinking right now if you're in Caribbean? You're stuck behind Hindle, who is showing a bit of lag for us anyway. You know, you've been right behind him pretty much the whole race, or near him, and actually you was ahead of him at the start, and now you're behind him. So what? You thinking you've done because you've been jumping in pit stops, or?
Well, as you know, I always got annoyed when I got jumped in the pit stops, because that's not an overtake. Really, yeah. I mean, okay, in real F1 it's different because it's all down to human factors. On the games, it's a little different. No, if I was...
Yeah, this season I've had the good and bad of that. I mean, yesterday I cheered because I had a 2.16 pit stop. The quickest I've had all season by about half a second.
Caribbean Crush, I think, just got very, very sideways there. I think there's a little bit of potential lag involved as well. But yeah, for Caribbean Crush, I mean, I don't know, if I was Caribbean Crush, Danny Railton, he's out of the race. So that's Garfield and Danny Railton we've lost in quick succession. That's actually devastating for the Yank and Limey team. That's massively fantastic for the Mercedes team, because that'll pretty much 100% confirm them as the Constructors' champions in the Formula Racing World Series. But guys, just have a quick look down the order, see if we've got anything brewing, because I do know that Manny Kekec has set fastest lap, and we may have a few battles further down the order. But yeah, for Caribbean Crush, I don't think he'll mind sitting right behind Hindle at the moment. Let's put it this way. Everybody knows that Hindle is no slouch. He's approaching races at the moment with a very different mindset to that of I have to win races. So he's not going at 100%. So for someone like Caribbean Crush or anybody else to be right behind him, it is no shortfall. And also, I mean, for Caribbean Crush, it's just showing once again that he has got more than what it takes to... Oh, he's going for the move. He's going to attack. Go on, lad, take it. Go for the move. Round the outside. He's trying it all the way around the outside, and Hindle gives a little bit more space than perhaps he usually would, does he? Yes, he does, as they're still side by side, and Caribbean Crush makes the move, and that is fantastic stuff from both drivers. It takes two to tango. It only takes one of them to put a foot out of place, and it's not tango anymore. It's just a heap on the floor. But yeah, for Caribbean Crush, he would have been happy sitting in third place, but now he's going to be delighted because he's in second.
And Conso is a bit more happier now in the lead because he's gaining more to Hindle in championship battle.
He is.
Speaking of that, what was the points gap between the two of them? I mean, I'm going to say why we didn't list him, but yeah, I'm going to say
I mean, the gap between the two of them, let's see, Hindle 223, Conso 204, so 19 points. No, yeah, 19 points, sorry, between the two of them. So any extra points that Conso can take from Hindle is good. I mean, okay, if it stays like this, the gap comes down by 10 points. Curly Whirly, though, just having a quick look at Curly Whirly, he's been catching a little bit, but he's still only 13 seconds off the leader, so he's not been catching enough. Is Hindle going to have DRS? I don't know. Let's see, Conso about to start lap 25. It's down to crunch time now for him. Caribbean Crush 6 seconds off the lead, and I don't think Hindle is close enough to attack. No, he isn't. Curly Whirly in 4th place, gap still only 13.4 seconds. SBL Manny Kekec, however, on his soft compound tyres, has been pumping in fastest laps, and he's got the gap down between himself and Conso to 19 seconds. He's about 6 seconds behind Curly Whirly at the moment. His teammate Valdemar, who had a fantastic start to the race, he'll be a little bit frustrated. He is, 14 seconds behind Curly Whirly now, whereas he was it was right behind him in the opening stages. From a Racing GP somehow has managed to get himself up to 7th place, and obviously a big part of that is being helped by Danny Railton and Garfield having problems. So 7th place for him at the moment, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to 6th. Lefty Hardtail, though, he's now up to 8th place, so going to score some points, going to keep that gap close between himself and GP in the driver standings. We may have to keep an eye on whether that was a battle that's going to brew on the last lap, because let's see, I think there's only about 5 seconds, 5 seconds between those two drivers. Rickster, he's a little bit further down on the medium tyres in 9th place, and Farfber right behind him on softer tyres as well. So Rickster and Farfber having a little bit of fight for 9th position at the moment. So I'm going to keep an eye on this for a second, guys. If one of you can keep us updated with what is happening, perhaps between Caribbean Crush and Curly Whirly.
Can you quickly mention that? I just saw some front wing on the pit straight. I don't know whose that is, though.
Good chance it may have been Garfield's or Danny Railton's. The exit of the final corner tends to be the place where cars come to be laid to rest. Even not by choice.
Down the pit straight, though. It's not bang in the middle.
Depends on how hard you hit it.
That's very true.
Okay, Farfber's got a run on Rickster, but I don't think he's quite close enough to full-on attack him. No, he's not. But Rickster being on the medium tyre... Oh, actually, Farfber is close enough to attack him. Okay, guys, shout at me if anything's happening further up the grid, and we'll jump on board. But I think Farfber is about to make Rickster's day go from a little bit bad to a little bit worse. although he's not going to attack him into the R130, thankfully. Oh, but Richter gets a little bit wide on the exit. Farfber's going to have DRS, and he's going to be able to attack down towards turn 1. It should really be a simple move, but it all depends on how you get out of the final corner. So, Richter, what have you got? What is your straight line speed like? Can you defend from the new-to-be daddy Farfber? Yes, he can. Richter's got him covered.
This might be a factor, but in my screen, Caribbean Crush has a puncture on front right, so 1 lap to go. Let's see if that front right. Let's see if that's going to be a real thing or not.
Okay.
This is something I was looking out for, seeing if it's showed an early puncture on him, as this game randomly does, but I'm surprised to see it out of front right.
Yeah, I mean, front right does get punished a little bit in sector 1 and a little bit through Spoon, but it's more the front left that takes a bit of extra pain around this track. But we'll see if that's going to come and strike him. Usually we'd see it on spectate mode, and then a driver will get it a little later on. Is Curly Whirly closing up? 12.9 seconds behind. I think he's going to be ever so slightly frustrated with this one, but I'm going to ride on board with Konzo for the last half of this lap. So guys, shout at me if anything does happen.
It's a puncture now. Hindle is second place now. Yes. Bad luck for Caribbean Crush.
It is. And is that Curly Whirly behind him? Yes, it is. It's Curly Whirly making the move. That'll get Curly Whirly on to the podium. Is SBL Mali Kekec going to catch him? Yes, he is. He's not far away either. Okay, I'm going to get back on board with Konzo. So someone keep an eye on SBL. Keep an eye on Caribbean Crush. I apologise, folks, for my dodgy commentary today. Honest to God, it's the heat in this commentary box. But for Konzo, there's nothing else he could have done other than ask somebody to pull out the Ethernet cable or turn off Hindle's internet connection, but it is going to be a victory for Konzo here in Suzuka. What a race for him. Done absolutely what he needed to. Hindle's going to take second place. If he doesn't hit the wall, he nearly did. And Curly Whirly's going to come home in third. Hindle got very lucky to take that second place there. Mali Kekec crosses the line in fourth place. His teammate Valdemar is going to cross the line in fifth. Yes, he does. Caribbean Crush, is he going to be able to take sixth place? Yes, he is. Crossed the line with a puncture. Devastation for him there. From a Racing GP, looks like it's going to be a seventh place finish for him. Lefty Hardtail has not been able to close that gap in enough, and obviously we don't know what penalties at the moment are going to be applied to the drivers, although Tony may have kept an eye on it, as GP is going to cross the line in at seventh place. Lefty Hardtail in eighth. Not much of a gain for GP there. Rickster, has he managed to hold off Farfber? Yes, he has.
Yeah, at the moment.
Is Farfber going to go for a late move into the chicane? No, he's not quite able to do it. Rickster, though, he's going to have to be careful. He's got history with the barrier on the right. But it is ninth for him. 10th for Farfber. Tony, you were about to mention something there?
Yeah, there is some penalties that will affect the order. So, yes.
Yeah, I've had a cheeky look myself.
Okay, RDB 11th, Dave the Harp crosses the line in 12th. Anybody else that finished is a lap down. So guys, if you could please take a screenshot of the results for me, because it has got drivers' real names or official drivers instead of our drivers, unfortunately. So 2 pictures would be absolutely great there, but I mean a few DNFs unfortunately out of that one. And I tell you what, if Calzo was a disconnection, then Konzo would have been bricking it a little bit, but he'd probably also shouting, turn your PlayStation off, at the same time. So yeah, Calzo, Garfield, Danny Railton all did not finish, unfortunately. Ant69 and Yuzi ended up a lap down. Ant69 had a great qualifying session though, but we also saw, I didn't see it, but my co-commentators did, Ant69 with the collision on that opening lap that put him way down the order. But for Hindle and Konzo, a very tough race. And for Curly Whirly, I mean, he was in a situation of being in fourth place. And a chance of the victory gone. In the end, he's got on the podium for the Williams team, which is good stuff, but could have been a victory.
A lot more.
Yeah, could have been a hell of a lot more.
We can ask him about that in a few minutes.
That we can. Well, before you do invite the podium drivers in, unless you already have, we'll just finish off with some of the drivers' pre-race comments. Yeah, we know what's coming. Okay, so whose haven't we done yet? Let's see. Farfber, we've done Farfber and RDB. Millstar, we know that he wasn't able to race today. Danny Railton. Let's see. Ask Danny Railton, reserving in one of the big teams today, who are tangling in a constructors' fight. What are your targets for the race? And he said, I'll battle as hard as I did last week in the reserve race. The pace is there. It's about knowing when to push and when not to. But you know from last week, having pace is one thing. Getting to the end without contact is quite another on a track like this. And unfortunately for Danny, it looks like he was exactly right with his comments. Lefty Hardtail, he said a few comments for tonight's race. Rest of the season is simple now. Finish ahead of GP. Give it my best and try and drive flat out every lap. Hopefully GP is back at this race, otherwise the fight isn't really on. I'd rather beat him on track than him miss races due to surgery. Hopefully he's back to his best though. I think Lefty Hardtail has realised the fight is definitely on today. Valdemar, the Renault drivers, I asked the Renault drivers an interesting question. I asked them both the same question. I asked Valdemar, Suzuka, one of the best on the calendar. Will we see another Renault lockout in qualifying? And can it be carried on to the end of the race? And Valdemar said, yes, Suzuka is a great track if you can get it right. I doubt we will see a Renault lockout at the front since Mali has a quali ban. And that's when I found out about it. But we will hopefully get a strong result, especially if it doesn't rain. So as you know, I sent the same question to SBL Mali Kekec. I sent them the same question at the same time. So sorry, Mali, that I sent you the question that I did.
You should be horrible.
Yeah, so the question I sent to Mali Kekec was, Suzuka, one of the best on the calendar. Will we see another Renault lockout in qualifying and can it be carried on to the end of the race? He must have thought I was being so sarcastic, and I wasn't. And he said, I can bet you £100,000 million we won't see a Renault lockout today. He said, I'll let you find out why that is. Hopefully we can get some juicy points. That's the aim for the race. And you know what? I did say to him, I'll take you up on that bet as long as Hindle can drive your car. Because obviously I had found out at that point that Mali Kekec had got a qualifying ban. Let's see, Yuzi. The admins pick rookie driver. Unfortunately, didn't see him much on the broadcast there. And I said, as the admins pick, reserve how you approach in this event at one of the best tracks on the calendar. And he said, I will be trying a new setup for this one. If it is going to be a rainy race like last week, the setup could not handle those conditions, but it was fun. Just as usual, we'll be trying to score some points. And as far as the tyres are concerned, probably going for the harder tyres because they're better in my eyes. And it isn't one of the best tracks for me. So interesting comments there from Yuzi, and I've got a feeling there's somebody's pre-race comments I've missed out. And you know what? Seeing as Tony has had the joy of not having to read out any of his comments, Tony, would you like to read out from our Racing GP's pre-race comments?
Oh no!
You're taking 5 minutes.
Well, I tell you what, I asked from Row Racing GP. I says, after a sabbatical, are you ready to retake the fight to Lefty Hardtail in the driver standing? So Tony, what was it that from Row Racing GP said?
That he is bringing balanced tires, so they don't wobble. No, really for even
and that is about exactly what he said. I must admit, I read these pre-race comments and I went, "What? What on earth? What on earth?"
You've done well there. You've done well there. I'll give you that.
TempFear is not wrong. Tony has done well there. I think it.
So we may need a translation.
Well, I think it translates to not really ready to return, but let Lefty get too many points ahead.
Yeah, I think
So
that's along those lines.
I'm really sorry if I have offended anyone. That was purely comical.
You did well there. I mean,
No.
I know I've offended people, but I think you did quite well there.
Yeah,
If
you
you
did
said
better.
it a bit quicker, I'd say you'd have struggled a lot more there.
Yeah, you did it better than I could have done it, let's put it that way, and I had it for about 3 hours longer than you did. Okay, let's get the podium drivers in then. They've had a chance to get rid of their sweaty brows, hopefully get a drink. I know I've had to top up on my drinks. It's been so hot here today, as I'm sure it has been in quite a few places around the UK and even all over the globe, for example. However, although saying that, yesterday when we had Front Row Racing JS in the commentary box, he says, what's the weather been like where you are today? It's been really horrible where I am. It's been really cloudy and cold. And I'm like, are you joking? It's ridiculously hot here at the moment.
Anyway, that's why he's special, because commentating and doesn't hear what you say or repeats it, because he just doesn't get it.
It's beautiful when he does that, though. I mean, to be honest, I don't listen when you two talk, so.
Thanks.
But no, I mean, to be fair, usually when you two are talking, I'm looking at the points, or I'm looking at pre-race comments and stuff like that. So it's not that I'm just ignoring you. It's that I'm doing things. At least that's my excuse. Okay, I have noticed that we have had a couple of people join us in the commentary box. Have we got everybody in yet, guys?
We're missing Hindle.
Oh, no, hang on. It's not Hindle. We're missing Hindle. Condo's in, but Hindo's not.
I made you get names to everyone, and you said no. But how about, you've got one for Conzo, one for Hindle. How about leave a podium sitter?
Kobe Wowie.
Oh, God, that's shocking. Oh dear.
There we go.
Is this what you've been doing all race, is it?
Pretty much. The thing is, though, you know what? I've been making genuine accidental mistakes on commentary names, and it's been turned into a comical feature by TempFear. Either that, or I'm going to get a letter from the Japanese embassy saying you are banned from doing YouTube live streams with anything to do with Japan on it. But there we go. Okay. Our podium sitters have now joined us. Thank you very much, guys. Please make sure you've got your microphone set to allow to be shared. And we're going to start off with, provisionally, congratulations to both of the Mercedes drivers. It looks like you have wrapped up the constructors' standings this evening. Well done, taking maximum points here today. To be fair, even if a couple of you get penalties and you lose a couple of places, I think you're still going to get it confirmed because you've scored more than enough points over the Yankin Lime Manor team to take the constructors there. But obviously, we'll get it confirmed later. But yeah, so congratulations to both of you on that one. Well done. We'll get your thoughts on that in a moment. We'll start off with Conzo, though. Conzo, you did everything you had to do today. Strategy, spot on. Race was difficult. Couple of turning points in the race for you. It looked like Hindle let you through, which we thought might be a case of he's seen he's got a bit of lag, he let you go. So we'll find out if that was the case or not. But also another sort of turning point of the race was Caribbean Crusher's puncture at the end. That took it from you gaining potentially 10 points on Hindle, reducing that to 7. So three sort of questions from me on that one. Did Hindle let you go? Thoughts on Caribbean Crush having the puncture at the end, and thoughts on the absolutely 100% spot on strategy there?
Well, I'll start first of all with qualifying anyway. Qualifying was extremely close. It was, 2 thousandths of a second in it between me and Ryan. Mm-hmm. It was a very close qualifying. I could have done a bit better on my lap, but so could have Ryan. But yeah, and then obviously the start of the race was pretty hard because the previous start we had, Ryan's car was actually going side to side across this track, going to the first corner, and I'm like, oh my god, it has to improve like the connection, eh? And it did for a bit, and then I think it's the second lap of the restart, his connection was just bad. It was just his car was going backwards into me, and then it was going about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds down the road. It was just madness. But Ryan seen it that it was causing me problems because I had cars behind me. It was obviously Caribbean. The Caribbean?
Yep.
Can't remember if it was.
Caribbean
He was
Crush,
behind me.
Malikekech, there's a few of them there, yeah.
It was a good train anyway. But yeah, so Ryan did the right thing, and he let me pass because of that. And well, that's why we won the constructors.
Yeah.
Purely based on the times that we've had to do the right thing for each other. We've done it.
That is true.
Because it's the right thing.
You have worked very well as a team together. However, I'm guessing as much as you're pleased about how the teamwork goes, that last lap where you must have been thinking, yes, okay, I'm first, Hindle's third, 10 points I gained on him. Then on that last lap, you hear Hindle go, he's got a puncture, and you're like, right, get him. Damn it. Was it like that?
Yeah, it kind of was bittersweet, to be honest. It's good to get the 1-2. But yeah, I could have done with the extra few points. Close the gap a little bit more, but it's what it is, like. So
Yeah.
it was a good race, so it looked like it was a very good race between third place anyway, at least.
It was. Okay, I'm going to hand over to my co-commentator, see if they've got any questions for Conzo. And if any of the viewers have any questions that they would like us to ask the podium sitters, feel free to mention them on YouTube with at FRR, and we'll get those asked as well. So, TempFear, questions for Conzo.
No, you've took me. No, me and Tony are on strike. No, in all seriousness, no. As I just mentioned, that you got a 1-2 here today, provisionally anyway. Which I think is only your second 1-2, if I'm correct, this season, second or third. I know you've not had many. I mean, due to issues. I mean, one of you has a good race, one has a bad race, but often more than not, and we'll blame DP on that with the pre-race interview questions. But now that you have, if you do wrap up the constructors, will we see a difference in terms of you two helping each other out, or what? You know, are you going to now be like enemies, or are you still going to be quite friendly towards each other?
Well, obviously there's a battle between me and Ryan, and we've both won the World Series before, and I don't know if anybody's won it twice, so
No,
it would be a first. So yeah, obviously there's something we're fighting for now, but I don't think it will go out the window completely. I mean, if you could see that other cars are faster behind and you keep them behind, and like someone pitting in the lap earlier, then fair enough. But yeah, as it gets closer to the end of the last few races, I mean, is it 4 races left now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. As it gets closer towards the end, then yeah, it's going to be harder to keep the friendliness. Let's see.
I mean, have you had any moments this season where it's been like a bit tough, where one of you's hated the other one, or because like I say, it is crunch time now, so if we're going to see anything, it should be now. I mean, like say you're around 10 points or so behind, a bit more, so you've got a bit more pressure in terms of getting on at him, so you can be a bit more feisty with him, squeeze him a bit more.
To be honest with you, it just depends on the next race. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll pay my brother. No, I think he did enough damage today.
Well, he was in Calzo was in a very good position to potentially win the race, depending on our strategies that have come around. I can't remember exactly what happened to him. I don't know if it was
He got terminal damage.
Terminal damage. So that's unfortunate for him. And Tony, you got any questions for Conzo?
Yeah, in qualifying, was that your plan, that you have time for only one run at the end when you didn't have a time set? So was that all planned, or was that by accident?
No, it was kind of planned, to be honest. I wasn't sure if I was to run at the end on mediums, so it was a bit of a hard one. Thankfully, I chose the mediums, and it turned out to be the right choice in the end.
Okay, thank you.
Is that your last one? Okay, I've got one more for you, Konzo. I'm just trying to avoid moving on to Hindle, that's what it is. I've got another question for you, and I mentioned it during the broadcast, and I'd like to get your thoughts about it now. Regardless of however the Mercedes team season has gone, it has had ups and downs. We are in a situation now where you're behind, and Temp's just asked you about, is it going to get feisty, and is there going to be any sort of hatred, or is it you're going to get your elbows out a bit more? But I'm going to try and ask the sort of same question, but in a simpler way, if I can. Hindle has said he's on a bit more of a cautious approach. He just needs to beat you. That's all he cares about at the moment, is beating you. You're in a different situation. You're behind. You've got nothing to lose. So you are open to risk a bit more. Or with something like Hindle's done today, where he said, look, I'm holding you up. I don't want to cause you any problems. You go. I'll let you go. Does that play in your mind and go, well, he was nice to me, so I better not hit him?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost is don't crash into each other, really. It's, the minute you crash into each other, it's just a mess. It's just a big mess.
The minute you crash into each other, it makes our lives a lot more interesting. We get to see a bit of battle. You hate each other. The last 3 races will be a lot better. Come on, guys, do it for us.
Well, we'll have to see how the last few races are going to go. Well done, Konzo. Don't go anywhere just yet. I'm sure we'll come back to you in a few moments' time. And I guess I'm going to have to do it. We'll move on to our second place sitter, Hindle. And Hindle, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, it was so close. You must have been hating me throughout that race as people are telling you that you're lagging. So I promise my pre-race questions to you from now on will either A, have nothing to do with racing, or B, have nothing to do with the points, your teammate, or connections.
And you know what? I can't believe he's done that. I can't believe he's done that. I can. If anyone doesn't know, he said to me, he was talking to me about my points on my lead. I opened up a gap again, and the last time he said that was literally I disconnected and I lost 25 points. And now this race, I lagged from lap 1 to lap 28.
You didn't get disconnected. That's one bonus of it.
You know what? I'm absolutely gobsmacked how I didn't get disconnected. The amount of lag I had, and I will apologise to anyone who was behind me because I knew I was lagging, and yeah, it just wasn't nice to me at all.
It looked at times like you were, I don't know if you were taking a defensive line down the start finish, or whether you were taking a I'm lagging so I'm going to move over here line down the start finish.
It was a bit of both. When he was right behind me, I moved over that way, so if he had a lot more speed, he could go through. But when he was quite far behind me, I thought I'd take a defensive line.
Okay, fair enough. So now that we've got the pre-race questions bit out of the way, there's an interesting race. Obviously, it was probably one of your toughest races of the season, and not just down to because of what was happening on track. But I don't think you had a lap in that race where you didn't have somebody trying to take the position off you.
Yeah, it was a busy race. I've actually got a decent start. I think I got up to P3, and then obviously straight away I realised I was lagging. So obviously I let come through after a couple of laps. So that was so gutting. I was watching some points just go past me. I was like, oh no. But yeah, every lap there was someone either in front of me or right behind me. It was definitely kept me on my toes.
That it did. Okay, I'm going to hand over to my co-commentators, see if they've got any questions for you. So, Arazor, you got any questions for one of our Constructors Champions, Hindle?
Yes, what was the reaction when you saw the unlucky driver with puncture and you got 3 points in the last lap? Was that all joy, or did you feel that you didn't deserve a second place in this race?
Well, I say it as one. I was in the position to take that place if anything happened to him. Two, yeah, of course I was buzzing. At first, I thought I disconnected because he just stopped. I was like, lap, really? But no, then obviously Con still talking, so I was like, oh, he's either out of fuel, which would be a bit odd, a lap, before. Oh, he's got a puncture. So then obviously it's just been confirmed now that, yeah, puncture. Oh yeah, pretty happy with that.
TempFear?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Konzo. So about, are you gonna, like say now that this is out of the way, are you gonna change anything? And also, are you playing any mind games with him? Because like I say, we were talking about this, about you saying you're just gonna focus on beating Konzo, you're not gonna be like 100% or whatever, or focusing on the win. Is this like playing with Konzo, double bluffing, or go on, give us an insight into what's going on between you two.
No, nothing like that. No my games. I mean, like today. No, today was again. I'm not pushing for the win if I don't need to. And today would have been one of them times where I had to, but I couldn't because one, I lost so much time behind the car and I can't remember which one it was. Two, I knew I needed to keep my tyres to the end, and it's a good job I did because look what happened to car being crushed. And three, every time I got behind someone, they kept lagging behind, like into the back of me, or in front of me, obviously, because I was lagging, and I just couldn't get close to anyone because I was too afraid of getting took out.
Yeah, speaking of the tyres there, how close were you to getting a budget? We know that traditionally you're a bit harder on your tyres than Gonzo, and you put a lap earlier in the first stint, so how close was you in the first stint of Quencher, and how close in the second stint?
First one was alright, I think 70%, and then as I crossed the line for the second race, 74%. And that was, yeah, that's why the last, Mark noticed it, the last 2 or 3 laps, my pace dropped off a lot, because I knew I had to save the especially the right front.
Well, yeah, Japan traditionally gives a few plunges on the last few laps, so it's so yeah, it's one to watch out for next season.
Definitely is. We're going to move on to our third place sitter in just a moment, but I've got one more question for Konzo and Hindle. You both went with the one-stop strategy, and it's worked beautifully for the both of you, because I think it was 4th and 5th on the grid, finishing 1st and 2nd. So was it? I'm guessing it was always the plan to do a one-stop, but was there any phase of the race or leading up to the race where you were thinking, nah, I should go for a 2-stop instead? So Konzo, what about yourself?
Yeah, I was to and froing for quite a long time, whether to go for a 2 or a 1, but Ryan will probably agree with this, but it was all on traffic, and to be honest, I thought when I was in the qualifying session just before I went out for my last lap, I just thought if I get stuck behind people on a 2-stop, it's going to be torture. So I just chose to play it safe and only come in the pits once.
And it worked.
I want to jump in it quickly a little bit. As DP said, that is obviously this is a thing with the championship again. I keep involving this, but it's you two now. It's pretty much certain. So obviously I'm guessing you two share your strategies. Would you have an idea? Okay, go. Oh yeah, I'm doing a 1-stop, and so you. Oh yeah, we're using the same thing, and then in your head go, okay, I'm gonna do something different. 2-stop. I mean, especially for you, Konzo, because like I say, you're behind, so you know something different. It's not exactly gonna hurt you.
Yeah, it's I've got to agree with you on that. I will be crossing my line. If it was the last race of the season and there's 5 points gap, if I win the race, Ryan finishes second, I win the championship by a point, then yeah, I'll definitely go Hail Mary. But at point, I'll compare.
Interesting. Okay, Hindle, what about you then? My question and also Temps.
The strategy, yeah, like Con in qualifying, did a few warm-up laps on the soft, and then I realised, and then I went in and thought, right, if there's a lot of people starting on the softs, then I'm going to do it as well. So we both knew we had the pace to put it on pole or the front row. So we thought, if there's a lot of people on softs, we're going to do it as well, but at least 6, 7, 8 people were on the medium. So we thought, if we go on the softs now and pit behind them, we're goosed. So yeah, we just decided to go on the mediums and do the one stop.
Yeah.
And to Temp's question, would I forgot what it was. Playing basically mind games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
Would
say you
you-
both agreed on do a 2-stop for a race, and then I might try a 1-stop or a 3-stop.
Well, a lot of Con's races this season have been won on his tyre wear, doing the stop less. Like Britain, for
Yeah.
example, he did a 1-stop and I did a 2-stop. Beat me. So I'm gonna approach these next few races purely on. If there's a 1-stop on, if I can do a stop less, I'm gonna do it.
I mean, as you're like hard, like I say, hard on your tyres, though, would it not be worth you looking more? So let's say America is a 1-stop next time out. Would you not be better for you to look at a 2-stop, focus on a 2-stop, and just optimize it?
It depends on the traffic because again, I think the 2-stop was a lot quicker around here, but the traffic is a big factor. And a lot of these drivers do start on the hard or the mediums. If I don't know what tyres are in USA, so say if it was soft, if I started on the soft and tyre wear is quite bad, and I got to lap 5 or something like that and pitted, and I come out in a bunch of traffic, that stop's going to be worthless because I lost so much time behind them, I wouldn't have got the undercut. So, but yeah, it all depends on who qualifies on what, I guess.
That is true. Okay, and talking about strategies, we'll quickly move over to Curly Whirly, who has been sitting there patiently as we question Konzo and Hindle. So thank you very much for waiting, Curly Whirly. I don't know. I mean, trying to predict how you might be feeling about that one. I mean, before the race, you said you'd not really practiced much for the event, so taking pole position in qualifying must have been very pleasing. But at the same time, I mean, what was going through your mind when, yes, you've got pole position, but you're seeing that grid order, soft tyre on you, soft tyre on Valdemar, and then just a whole load of guys on mediums behind you?
Yeah, qualifying was okay. I kind of bottled the final chicane on my lap, but there weren't very many people on soft, so it didn't matter. Then the start of the race, I was just looking to sort of bolt away, but I gotta say the first half of the race I drove pretty terribly, so I didn't really put much of a gap. And then at that point it was just playing catch up. But no, I don't know. My pace on the soft tires at the start wasn't great, and the pace in the first half of the hard tire stint was pretty terrible. So I just didn't drive well enough, really. I think I could have pulled off the strategy, but no, just not today.
Yeah, it wasn't to be today. I mean, Valdemar did well to keep you under pressure in that opening stint of the race, but through the pit stops, he unfortunately lost time. I mean, when you came out of the pits, you both came out, I believe, in a little bit of traffic, but you were able to negotiate it a little bit quicker than he was. So it didn't compromise you too much, although it did cost Valdemar quite a few seconds. So would you say that you got lucky with where you came back out on the track regarding traffic, or was it just good tactics?
I think maybe a little lucky, but I think through the second half of the race I had a lot more pace than he did because he finished quite a long way back, so yeah. I was pretty confident at keeping the position anyway, but I just drove. I was going to go a lap further in the first stint, but because he was so close behind I couldn't afford to because he would undercut me, so yeah, I would have liked to go longer and get ahead of a little bit more of the traffic, but it's not hard to sort of overtake around here. I mean, the slipstream is massive, so I wasn't too concerned about the traffic.
Okay. Did you notice who you were potentially battling a little later on in the race? So I'm kind of referring again to Calzo, who kind of sneakily out of nowhere brought himself into play for a battle for the lead with you. I don't know if you'd managed to spot that while you were heading around the track.
He went on the softs in the second stint, didn't he?
Oh, actually, sorry, I'm mistaken. He did get himself into a battle with a lead for you until we realised that he had another stop to do because he hadn't used a mandatory tyre. So don't worry about that one. But same question, but with thoughts about how Konzo and Hindle and Caribbean Crush went about their race with their strategy.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the race, I was pretty confident that the two-stop would work well. But I just didn't pull enough of the gap at the start, and then when I came out, for the final stint, 9 laps left, and I was something about 11 or 12 seconds behind Hindle. So at that point, it was like, all right, okay, just fingers crossed and hope that they've got penalties. I closed the gap up about a second a lap, maybe a little bit more than that, toward like through the whole final stint. But it just wasn't enough. I just wasn't, far enough off the road, really.
Okay, so in hindsight, is there anything that you'd do different? Would you go for the one stop? Would you change anything within the setup to make it handle that a little bit better, to let you get more out of it?
No, I don't think so. I think the strategy was fine. It was just needed to drive better.
Okay. Hand over to my co-commentators for any questions that they've got for you. So, TempFear, any questions for Curly Whirly?
That race, you could arguably say you lost from qualifying, qualifying a different set of tyres. I did see your first qualifying lap on mediums, and I'm pretty sure it was around what the two Mercedes had done, maybe a bit slower. I'm not 100% sure, but looking back now, do you think you'd have been better off maybe sticking on medium tyres?
I don't think so. I think I was half a tenth behind sort of 3 other cars, 2 Mercedes and Caribbean Crush, and it was at that point it was like, right, I don't really want to be stuck in a train with those guys. So I expect Spurs to do something different.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, but you'll be interested to watch then if you're in the final few races.
I'll do my best to make it interesting.
Is that something you'll generally do, like different strategies to people?
I mean, it depends on the track and like what sort of strategies are available there. I mean, I think there's good options for all of the remaining races, so it really just depends where you are in qualifying. My lap on the mediums wasn't that great, so I would have started about 6th, I think. At that point, it was like, right, I might as well go from the front row and just try and pull a gap. But I just didn't drive well enough. That's really all it is.
Fair enough. I'll hand over to Tony, who calls you Whirly Curly.
Are you happy with the result, as you won last week and now 3rd place, and this was your 2nd World Series race, I believe, so you have only been in podium, so are you happy with 3rd place, or is winning all that matters?
Not really that happy. I mean, if you'd asked me sort of 5 laps before the end, then I would have taken it. But coming into it, I wanted to win. Always want to win. So it's a bit disappointing. And I know that I could have driven a lot better. So yeah, I'll say it's pretty disappointing.
Okay, I've got one more question for you, Curly. In the World Series Reserve race, we saw what happened at the end of that. And if anybody hasn't, you have to go and watch the World Series Reserve race. On that last lap and a half, when you're passing past a certain driver that's got a puncture, was there a little bit of a wry smile on your face on that one?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. And if anyone wants to know anything about that one, like I say, you have to go and watch the World Series Reserve race from last week, where Curly Whirly was competing. Okay, thank you guys for joining us on the podium. I'm going to do question of the day, and actually, we'll do question of the day. Before you answer it, we'll go to Tony to see if there's any questions for the drivers from YouTube. So, question of the day, and we'll give you a little bit of time to have a think about it, is: how many points have been scored by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races in Japan? And bonus points if you can name the drivers. So have a little bit of a think about that one. And viewers, if you're still watching and you want to have a guess at that, the answer of that one, get your answers on the YouTube chat now. Tony, have we got any questions from YouTube for the podium sitters?
Not really much. We have to Curly Whirly. Do you think you deserve the manual seat? From GP.
I know that Lefty's trying out lots of different drivers, and he's perfectly entitled to do that, so I don't really mind. That's really up to him. I mean, he's obviously looking for drivers for next season, so I think it's a good idea of him to try lots of people out.
Well, you have shown your speed with 2 podiums, so you are good contender for that, for sure. And then GP wanted for commentators answers who we want to see in Manor, but I don't know.
Ooh.
That's a controversial question.
That is, yeah. I don't know if I could answer that.
I think you have to.
Okay, if I was forced to answer the question, who do I think should be in that Manor seat? Caribbean Crush. For a couple of reasons. One, Caribbean Crush has been in the World Series reserves for quite some time. He's reserved for a number of different teams. He's definitely more than capable. I can't dispute that Curly Wurley has come along and he's quick and he can compete with the big boys just like Caribbean Crush can. So it would literally come down to the fact that Caribbean Crush has been here a little longer than Curly Wurley. So that's where I'd give the seat. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not my choice anyway. So there we go. Okay. Any more questions, Tony, from YouTube?
I think the other 2 commentators got to answer that as well.
Well, I could save them from it, but come on then. Temp, go on. Who would you put in there?
What in the Manor is this?
Yep.
Can I be awkward and just like say put Anthem there? No, joking. No, I understand what you're saying there. Caribbean's been here a while, and it's he's proved himself. I mean, Curly's come in. I would have to say a bit more about him in terms of he's gone right there and he's hit the ground running literally. So if it was me, Caribbean's going to hate me for saying this. He's going to murder me, but I would put Curly in there. But I'd say it's down to Lefty, who he gets on with. That's the thing. You can have the fastest 2 drivers. If they don't get along, it's not necessarily the best driver pairing.
Exactly.
So Tony would decide and vote.
Yeah. Tony will pick someone completely different.
I wouldn't mind seeing either of the drivers on a Manor, but there are many fast drivers that can compete in this, and I believe that the one that is going to be in Manor. What if I going to mention myself?
Well, that's the thing. You could. I mean, Arazor does compete in the World Series reserves. You could say, well, I'd put me in there. The only thing is, I didn't pick Arazor because Arazor says, oh no, I can't take a seat in there at the moment.
Yeah, that was a joke. I'm not so fast, but yeah. I don't say. I won't say anything, so it's. Up to someone else to decide.
Well, this is right. In all honesty, it's not an easy thing to decide who to put in a seat and just going. Well, that guy's quicker. You could do it that way, but I know in the past Front Row Racing it says, well, okay, yeah. I mean, you take Curly Wurley and Caribbean Crush. If Front Row Racing was picking who goes in there, then there's more chance that it be Caribbean Crush because he's put the time in. But it's never easy to decide who to put into a car. But that's why it has more been put onto the drivers to say, well, look, it's your team. Who do you want as your teammate? There might be people that we have to say, look, no, you can't. But it is down to the guy in the team because the best way a team can work is if they get on with each other. You look at Konzo and Hindle today. They're fighting for a championship. They're putting it all on the line. But Hindle still has the compassion to go, you know what, I'm having problems. Konzo, I'll let you through.
He hasn't got the will to win.
That decision, though. No, but the thing is, that decision, though, to consciously make that decision, knowing that A, you've potentially people will see it as a sign of weakness. You've let your rival go. You've given him more points. To consciously make that decision is a stronger decision, and it's a stronger decision for the team. It's also fantastic mind games, because now Hindle's got one on Konzo where he says, well, remember what I did for you in Japan, mate?
Come there, I'm a bit quicker, come on, little.
Yeah, it's also the thing, though, as well. It's the case of, like, it avoids an incident between the two where,
yes,
both gone off. I'm sure Hindle would rather lose 7 points to Konzo rather than for him to get terminal damage and Konzo to manage to crawl home and get third and get 15 points. So. Yeah.
Anyway. It depends. I think that will all depend on the situation. I mean, for example, if we're in Abu Dhabi, it's the last couple of laps of the race, and for whatever reason, Hindle miraculously is a lap down in, I don't know, 7th or 8th place, and Konzo's leading. Oh, what could happen? You never know. It is racing.
Come there, you're lagging, let me through down the straight, Abu Dhabi, let's go.
By the way, I will take payments from each of you to send specific questions to the other one on race day.
I think I might block you on Facebook. I've had enough.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna finish off now then with the question of the day. So I'll mention it again, and we'll get our drivers and our commentators. Actually, commentators have had a guess, so we'll get our drivers.
I'll have a re-guess if you want.
Okay, so how many points have been scored by Japanese F1 drivers in F1 World Championship races in Japan? Bonus points if you can name the drivers. So, Konzo, any thoughts of the answer of that one?
It's a good question, but I think it's only one driver, and I think it's Kobayashi, and that's when you got the podium in third place. What year was it? 2013?
2012?
I remember when it was last, so 2012. It was round about that time.
So you think the total points scored by Japanese drivers in Japanese Grand Prix is 15 by Kobayashi? Yeah. Okay. Hindle, what about you?
I'm going to say 17 points. And I know what the only Japanese driver I know is Kobayashi.
I know of another one. I can't remember his name though.
Well, you don't know of him, then, do you?
No, I know. I know there's a Japanese driver that used to be near the front of the grid. I just don't know his name.
Well.
No, I'm going to change it. I know what you mean.
You don't know his name, don't you?
No, you don't know his name. I know his name. Would you like me to tell you his name?
I know it begins with a K, like Kobayashi.
No, it doesn't. Really, no, it doesn't. Would you be on about Takuma Sato?
That's it.
Oh.
But yeah, it doesn't. Trust me. Well, actually, let's put it this way. There's been no other Japanese driver racing Japanese Grand Prix scoring points whose name begins with a K. I can tell you that much. Okay, so with Hindle's dodgy guesses there, he knows as many people as TempFear does. Curly Whirly, what about yourself?
So, Kobayashi got the podium in 2012, but I think he had a good race in 2010 as well.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for 23 points.
Interesting. So, okay. So
yeah, my guess is way out.
We'll come to that in a minute. So, Tony, have we had many guesses on YouTube?
Yes, we have plenty of
Google
answers or guesses. We have 3, 21, 17, 50. 12, 60, and that's about it.
So
no,
3.
I get the prize for the highest
for a moment, then I thought you meant 321. So I'm guessing it was 3, 21, 17, yep. 50, 60. Yes. Okay, right.
No, 16 and 12.
Oh, 16 and 12. Mm-hmm. Okay. And should we just remind ourselves what TempFear said? TempFear said, what was it? 90.
You know, I'm being ambitious. I'm going outside the box. Everyone gets slow. I'm going to be different. It worked for me last time.
Let's remind ourselves what Arazor said. Arazor said, what was 41, which is the closest to the correct answer.
Again, boom.
Okay. The answer is a total of 37 points. So Arazor was only 4 away. And I can tell you who they were as well. In 1987, Satoru Nakajima finished in the last point scoring place, got 1 point there. In 1990, Satoru Nakajima again finished in the last point scoring place, but in that same race, Aguri Suzuki scored 4 points. That was back in the days when points only went down to 5th place in 87 and 6th place in 1990. From 2002 and 2003 and 2004, Takuma Sato scored 2 points, then 3 points, then 5 points, and then as Curly Whirly correctly got right, in 2010 Kamui Kobayashi scored 6 points there, and then in 2012 Kamui Kobayashi did finish third and scored 15 points there. So the correct answer was 37 from 1, 2, 3, 4 different Japanese drivers. Well, there's been a lot more Japanese drivers, but they've just not really scored many points, unfortunately, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. Okay.
Add up to 37. I question your maths every time.
It adds up 15, 6, 5, 3, 2, 4, 1, 1. It adds up to 37. I checked it twice.
I'll trust you for once.
Yeah, trust me, Mr. 90. You're questioning my maths. You were more than double away. Anyway.
Hey. I went ambitious. It's worked before. I've got questions there. Well, the closest twice.
Anyway. Okay. Last final question to our podium sitters. Next race, I believe, is America. Yes. If that's the case, Konzo, Hindle, Curly Whirly, if you're able to take to the track on that day, is it a track you like? Is it a track you can win at? Konzo.
I would say, well, I'll go with a stupid tab. Every track you can win at, but
Thanks, mate.
honestly, it's a bit of not a great track for me. But we'll see what happens. This one wasn't a great track for me, and
you won.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
That is true. Hindle, what about yourself?
Like Con, I think we both know we've got the pace to win any race if we wanted to. Again, all depends on qualifying, what happens in the race. But yeah, I think we can. Well, not no problem, but yeah, I think we can win it.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see how you guys get on. And Curly Whirly, what about yourself?
Yes and yes.
Okay, nice and simple. So we like it. Okay, podium sitters, thank you very much for coming and joining us. I know it's hot and it's sweaty, so well done in the race, and thank you for your comments. Just mention to the viewers that next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel should be tomorrow night for the final round of the Fruff Cup on Project Cars in GT3 Porsches. So come and join us for that around about 8 p.m. And then on Sunday we've got the final round of the DTM on Project Cars. Join us for that again, 8 p.m. That should be some fantastic stuff. Next Wednesday and Thursday you can join us for the World Championship Reserves on Wednesday, the World Series Reserves on Thursday, both sessions from about 7:25 p.m, and they are the feeder series into our F1 leagues. So thank you very much for coming and watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Quick thank you to all of the viewers as well. We have got over 300 subscribers now, so let's keep that growing if we can, and obviously the more it grows the better everything can get. Final thank you to my co-commentators, TempFear and Arazor21. We all got our words mixed up today, me more than most, admittedly, but at least I didn't give you two a Japanese nickname. So thank you very much anyway.
Get you a haircut like that.
No comment. Thank you, Arazor. I'm ignoring TempFear now.
Cheers.
Well done, Tony. Thank you very much. And again, to the viewers, thank you for watching. This has been the Formula Racing World Series. We will put the podium post up this afternoon, later this evening even. Afternoon. See, it's totally gone. The heat has done me. But it is only provisional result. The result will be confirmed a week on Saturday. But yeah, come and check out the Formula Racing Facebook page. This has been Formula Racing World Series. We've been the dodgy commentary team today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.